Chapter 532. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? This is a wonderful novel for you to read. Meanwhile, Hu Shao, Qing Mang, and the experts from the city lord's mansion rose into the air again. What the hell do you want? Hu Shao roared, brandishing his battle saber. What do we want? The realm of unbounded desolation belongs to us beast cultivators. Go back to where you came from. And you, what's your choice? You're only going to die. After roaring at Hu Shao, the five-clawed pterosaur pointed one of its sharp claws at Qing Mang. You're shameless. Hu Shao said coldly. The situation in the realm of unbounded desolation isn't new. You can't do whatever you want. You'd better go back to where you came from, lest something bad happens. If it were before, Hu Shao wouldn't have been so confident. After all, 2 demon kings were more than enough to make him and Qing Mang suffer. They could only hold their ground but not defeat them. Now, however, 3 demon kings had come. If it weren't for the fact that the human side had an invincible expert, the situation would have taken a turn for the worse. This made Hu Shao feel lucky that Wu Lingfei had come. Now, he understood why the demon kings hadn't gone all out to attack the human side during this time. They were waiting for another demon king to come. Ah, something bad happened? Since you want to fight, let's use your blood to prove that the realm of unbounded desolation will return to the human side. The five-clawed pterosaur roared. Heaven's will is as sharp as a blade. You'd better go back to your secluded cultivation. It's useless to rely on this kind of battle. Perhaps you'll gain some luck if you win, but it'll also go against heaven's will. The five-clawed pterosaur roared at Wu Lingfei. Who are you? It doesn't matter who I am, Wu Lingfei said. What matters is that I'm on the side of the human side. You have no chance of winning. A saint? I don't care about an elementary saint. The five-clawed pterosaur roared angrily. Not only had it failed to gain the upper hand when the 2-headed flood dragon arrived, but Wu Lingfei's appearance had put it at a disadvantage again. Do you really want to fight? Wu Lingfei waved her arm, and the polar moon wheel appeared behind her. Then it spun rapidly. At first, it covered her face and body with a veil, but after a while, it became clear again. This was because the polar moon wheel had spun to the extreme, to the point where it was invisible to the naked eye. I'll kill whoever blocks my way. This king is going to kill a saint today. The five-clawed pterosaur roared and charged at Wu Lingfei. I've already warned you, yet you still want to fight. You brought this upon yourself. Wu Lingfei sent out a palm with her left hand and waved her right arm. Dozens of life chains appeared in the air. Wu Lingfei used Ice Seal with her left hand to restrict the five-clawed pterosaur to a certain range. Then she used life chains to control the five-clawed pterosaur, trapping it in a protective shield. After trapping the five-clawed pterosaur, Wu Lingfei waved her right hand, and a crescent-shaped energy with a diameter of 6 meters flew towards the five-clawed pterosaur. Following the roar of the five-clawed pterosaur, the crescent moon slash cut through the middle of the five-clawed pterosaur's body, creating a large hole. Then more crescent-shaped energy slashes flew out of Wu Lingfei's body, and each of them pierced through the five-clawed pterosaur's body. I didn't want to kill you, but since you want to die, then I'm sorry. Die. At this time, a silver crescent flew out of Wu Lingfei's body. This crescent was even faster, and it directly cut open a black crack in space. Then it directly cut open the five-clawed pterosaur's head. This was the main body of the polar moon wheel. Wu Lingfei made a grabbing motion with her left hand, and the silver crescent flew back to her. At the same time, she also grabbed the five-clawed pterosaur's huge corpse. As she flicked her finger, the five-clawed pterosaur's crystal core appeared in her hand. Then Wu Lingfei froze the five-clawed pterosaur's huge corpse and put it away. Wu Lingfei looked at the 3-legged ape king and the 2-headed WRM king and said, You two go back and treat this as an ordinary beast tide. I'll pretend that nothing happened. You demonic beasts want to be eliminated, and the realm of unbounded desolation needs to be tested. This is what the environment needs. However, don't try to overturn the situation. The realm of unbounded desolation was established by our ancestors. It won't be destroyed by our hands. Then your venerables should go back as well. The 3-legged ape king roared as he waved his huge metal stick. The five-clawed pterosaur's death made him feel powerless, but he couldn't ignore the fact that human venerables were killing demonic beasts. Wu Lingfei looked at Hu Shao and Qing Mang and asked, City Lord Hu, Subleader Qing Mang, what do you think? Hu Shao pondered for a moment before nodding at Wu Lingfei. Then he looked at the 3-legged ape king and said, Normal beast tides don't involve venerables, right? The 3-legged ape king nodded and said, That's right. That's good. Don't involve venerables from either side. Then Hu Shao let out a roar. Immediately, the venerables who were fighting the venerables all retreated. Kill. Hu Shao swung his battle saber forward. At the same time, the banner of the human camp began to flutter. As the banner fluttered, all of the venerables from the realm of unbounded desolation moved out and charged towards the demonic beasts. City Lord Hu, Subleader Qing Mang, Wu Lingfei said. Beast tides are a law of nature. Demonic beasts need to be eliminated. We cultivators need to be tempered like this as well. Losses are inevitable. Of course we can also temper elites. Wu Lingfei said. Hu Shao understands. Without the demon beast kings and venerables from the other side, although the cultivators on our side are having a hard time, we can still hold on. If we can't, we can retreat to the Thousand Desolation City and rely on the advantage of the city wall. After getting rid of the 3 behemoths from the other side, Hu Shao felt more confident. Although the number of demonic beasts was great, their levels were not uniform after all. Some of them were at the 2nd and 3rd level. In terms of overall strength, they were much weaker than the cultivators on the human side. Although the cultivators might suffer great losses, it was just a trial and not a disaster. Knight Sorrow led the team of Tianji Tower and the blood-robed guards and charged towards the demonic beasts. As the battle progressed, the huge gap between them was revealed. The team led by Knight Sorrow slaughtered the demonic beasts at an extremely fast speed. Only 2 of them were not at the Void Inquiry stage. Fighting against the demonic beasts was like a tiger entering a flock of sheep. Without the venerables blocking their way, they were invincible. As the spearhead of the team, Knight Sorrow was even more invincible. The reincarnation spear in his hand swung wildly. Every ray of spear light would take the life of a demonic beast. At this moment, Knight Sorrow was like a god of death roaming the mortal world. Every strike of his spear took a life. Even Void Inquiry stage demonic beasts could not withstand a single strike from him. V and L forever O free fees? Look at you small m and say, Knight Sorrow's body was tyrannical and his strength was great. In addition to the vibration force and spiral force, even demonic beasts at the same level as him would not be able to withstand his violent attacks, let alone demonic beasts at the same level as him. That young man. Quickly pay attention to that young man. Why is he so ferocious? After observing the situation of Knight Sorrow's team and noticing the process of Knight Sorrow's massacre, Guanyin shouted in astonishment. Qing Mang did not say anything. At this moment, Knight Sorrow was not wearing his mask. There were some things that could not be said. Chapter 533. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We will provide you with wonderful novels to read. Very young and very powerful. Wu Shao said. Love gone little say Chu because he is young he needs to gain experience, Wu Lingfei said. Knight Sorrow waved his arm, and the reincarnation spear was surrounded by an energy vortex. This was the embodiment of the realm of one with the spear. In fact, Knight Sorrow's realm had already surpassed the realm of one with the spear. It was between one with the spear and one with the heavens. After killing for a while, Knight Sorrow felt that they could not go deeper. This was an ordinary beast tide. The advantage of this was that the demonic beasts were simple-minded, but the disadvantage was that they were irrational and would attack one after another. If they were not careful, they would be besieged and exhausted to death. Let's fight on the spot and wait for them to charge. If you feel tired, just shout. Everyone protect them. Get on your flying mounts and return to the camp, Knight Sorrow ordered. Even though they were standing on the spot, the demonic beasts still charged forward like a tide. Knight Sorrow killed the demonic beasts while paying attention to the other's situation. He could not let his brothers get hurt. Knight Sorrow and the others were fine, but the other teams could not hold on. They had consumed a lot of energy and there were also serious injuries and deaths. Retreat. Wu Shao roared. Although this was a training, it was also a war of attrition. If this continued, the cultivators would be exhausted before the demonic beasts were exhausted. All of you, get on your mounts and follow the main group. Knight Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear, and the sky-piercing spear with the ice dragon tendon flew out. He ordered the Blood Strike guards and the members of the Tianji Tower team to get on their mounts and leave. While protecting everyone's retreat, Knight Sorrow also asked Tianyu to cooperate with him in the air. While Knight Sorrow and the others were fighting, Tianyu was not idle. He had killed many flying demonic beasts in the space. At this moment, he was hovering and killing all the flying demonic beasts in the surroundings. Knight Sorrow's body flashed and he kept attacking. At the same time he called Silver Fox to his side. Then he exerted force with his right foot and kicked Silver Fox to Tianyu's back. At this moment only Lei Bao and Ho Jian were not on their mounts. What are you waiting for? Let's go. Do you think I can't leave? Night Sorrow shouted with a smile. Let's go. We'll drink when we rest tonight. Lei Bao jumped onto the Thunderbird in a flash. Ho Jin didn't waste any time either. His body flashed and landed on the back of his mount. Night Sorrow brandished his arms and brandished his reincarnation spear, forcing the demonic beasts that surrounded him to retreat. Then he channeled the energy in his body into his legs and stomped on the ground twice, causing the demonic beasts to retreat. He then soared into the sky and grabbed Tianyu's sharp claws, allowing Tianyu to fly away. Love Gong Little Sei Ku, the Tianji Tower team and the Blood-Robed Guard team retreated perfectly. The other teams didn't have such an effect. They were all chased by the demonic beasts and people were constantly dying in their mouths. Wu Lingfei's body flashed and landed on Tianyu's back. Auntie Fei, if we retreat, won't the defensive line collapse? Night Sorrow asked. This defensive line can't be defended. It's only a matter of time before it collapses. The best way is to retreat to Xuanhuan City and use the strong defense of the city, Wu Lingfei said. That's true. The losses are too heavy if we continue to fight like this. Night Sorrow turned around and looked at the battlefield. He realized that the cultivators who hadn't retreated had already been drowned by the demonic beasts and died without a complete corpse. Then, everyone retreated to Xuanhuan City. The city walls of Xuanhuan City were tall and strong. The city walls extended very far and completely blocked the exit of the Xuanhuan mountain range. In other words, as long as Xuanhuan City wasn't lost, the demonic beasts wouldn't be able to charge in. The cultivators who retreated all went to camp on the city walls of Xuanhuan City. Love Gong Little Sei Ku, Night Sorrow, well done. Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. She was very satisfied with Night Sorrow's current situation. His actual combat strength far exceeded his cultivation level. This was the manifestation of excellence and excellence. The most incompetent performance of a cultivator was having a high cultivation level but low combat strength. And it's okay. Night Sorrow nodded and tidied up his robes. During this battle, he had been maintaining a protective barrier. Otherwise, his body would be covered in blood again. Alright, I have something for you. Take a look and collect the materials. These are all good materials. Wu Lingfei waved her arm and the frozen corpse of the five-clawed pterosaur appeared in front of everyone. Then Wu Lingfei slapped out with her palm and broke the ice on the corpse. The dragon blood hasn't solidified yet. Hurry up and do it, Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow didn't stand on ceremony with Wu Lingfei. He waved his reincarnation spear and began to clean up the corpse of the five-clawed pterosaur. Dragons were outstanding existences on the exotic beasts list. The five-clawed pterosaur had cultivated to the peak of the venerable realm. It could be seen that the bloodline power in its body was still very strong. Night Sorrow took out a few jars and began to collect the dragon blood. The five-clawed pterosaur's body was huge, but there were only a few jars of its blood essence. However, this was still a terrifying amount. After collecting the dragon blood, Night Sorrow also put away the dragon's gallbladder. Then he dismantled the dragon bones, dragon tendons and other materials. You idiot. Actually, the best refining material on dragons is the reverse scale. Wu Lingfei stretched out her arm and a ray of light flashed. A green scale the size of a human head under the five-clawed pterosaur's neck was pulled off by her. Then she threw it to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow smiled embarrassedly. It wasn't that he didn't know that the reverse scale was a good thing, but he had forgotten about it. Then Night Sorrow cut off the five-clawed pterosaur's horn and claws and put them into his storage ring. Brothers, cut some good meat and roast it later, Night Sorrow shouted to the Tianji Tower team and the members of the Blood-Robed Guards. You guys stay back. I'll take a look first and see if there are any dragon roots. If there are dragon roots, it will definitely go well with the wine. Lei Bao roared and pulled Ho Jian behind him. Then he aimed at the space between the five-clawed pterosaur's hind legs. Night Sorrow, you're cultivating your body. Actually, that's also good for you. If you refine it into wine, it will increase your yang qi. Wu Lingfei reminded Night Sorrow and then turned to leave. She was a woman, so sometimes it was inconvenient for her to do so. Stop, that's mine. You guys go roast the dragon eggs. Night Sorrow shouted. He went over and pulled Lei Bao away. Then he waved his reincarnation spear and found the dragon roots and cut them off. Captain, you're too shameless. But dragon eggs are also good. Lei Bao immediately changed his target. The members of the Blood-Robed Guards and the Tianji Tower team worked together and cut off the five-clawed pterosaur's legs to roast. At this time, Tianyu walked over and looked at the five-clawed pterosaur's corpse. Then he started eating. The five-clawed pterosaur's flesh and blood contains enough bloodline power and vitality. It will be very beneficial for its growth, Sikong Chuyu said to Night Sorrow. After hearing Sikong Chuyu's words, Night Sorrow also brought Silver Fox over and let it eat some of the meat. On the other side, Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu also released their mounts. However, Tianyu was willing to let Silver Fox eat with him, but he didn't allow the dark feathered eagle and fire phoenix to come close. I square root most D new chapter percent section above Q. This made Night Sorrow feel very helpless. However, he didn't like to ask Tianyu for anything, so he could only apologize to Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Fortunately, Tianyu was full and didn't hog any more meat. Silver Fox's body was very small, but it still ate a lot. The five-clawed pterosaur's body was very big, so the dark feathered eagle and fire phoenix could enjoy a small portion. Chapter 534. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go/Small? This is a wonderful novel for you to read. After reading it, Night Sorrow was pleasantly surprised. The Dragon Spirit Pill for Rank 6 True Chi cultivators to raise their cultivation by 1 level required Venerable Realm Dragon Blood as the main ingredient. Dragon Bile was the main ingredient for Detoxification Pill and Clear Heart Pill. It was a rare and high-grade pill. After Night Sorrow finished reading the alchemy manual, Ho Jian and the others finished roasting the dragon meat. Night Sorrow cut a piece and placed it on a plate before bringing it to the tent. Aunt Fei, do you want to eat? Yes, I haven't touched food in a long time, but it's fine. Wu Lingfei nodded. Night Sorrow took out a jar of 100 herb wine and gave it to Wu Lingfei before going to drink with his brothers. Captain, come on. A little wine after a battle is not bad. Ho Jian said. That's right. After a battle, all of us brothers can drink. That's the happiest thing. This time we flew back a bit faster than the demonic beast. We'll probably have to continue fighting tomorrow. Everyone be careful. Let's not talk about how many demonic beasts we'll kill. We have to fight in our own safety. Yi Shan reminded everyone again. After eating and drinking, everyone went to rest. They had been fighting for a whole day, so they consumed a lot of energy. Night Sorrow also returned to his tent. His tent was with Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. After drinking a pot of tea, Night Sorrow also began to cultivate. Time was squeezed out. Only by cultivating seriously would one's achievements be significant. Night Sorrow had the space-time treasure pagoda, which saved a lot of resources. He only needed to cultivate with the Shan Turtle crystal. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, Hu Shao and Qing Mang came to Wu Lingfei's tent. Lord Golden Phoenix, I heard from Qing Mang that you need desolate stones. There are 3 pieces in the Great Desolation City's City Lord Mansion's warehouse. Hu Shao placed 3 earthy yellow stones with gray light spots on the small table in front of Wu Lingfei, who was meditating. Then I'll use life crystals to exchange with your Roaring Tiger City Lord. Wu Lingfei took out 5 life crystals and placed them on the table in front of her. Lady Golden Phoenix, that won't do. You've already done us a great favor. If we take your materials, we'll be embarrassed, Hu Shao said with a bitter smile. That's different. Keep it. Wu Lingfei shook her head. Keep it, Lord of Roaring Tiger City? Our mistress Wu Kei will not take advantage of this. Qing Mang said. After putting away the life crystals, Hu Shao bowed slightly to Wu Lingfei and said, That's fine too. In the future, if you need anything from me, just bring my words to the realm of unbounded desolation. You're too kind, Lord of Roaring Tiger City. It's nothing. Wu Lingfei shook her head. Hu Shao didn't say anything else. Sometimes words of courtesy didn't need to be said. It was more important to keep it in mind. Night Sorrow got up and started practicing his spear arts. At that moment, some demonic beasts had already arrived at the city walls of the Thousand Desolation City. Seeing that Night Sorrow had finished his cultivation, Wu Lingfei came to Night Sorrow's side and took out 3 desolation stones. These are from the Grand Desolation City's City Lord's mansion. What did Mistress Fei use to exchange for these desolation stones? Night Sorrow asked. I gave them 5 life crystals, Wu Lingfei said. Mistress Fei, do you still have enough life crystals? I have some here. Night Sorrow asked. He didn't want to pay the price for the desolation stones. He was worried that Wu Lingfei's cultivation base would be affected if she didn't have enough cultivation resources. Yes, I have a lot. You don't have to worry about me. I hope these 3 desolation stones will be useful to you, Wu Lingfei said. Then I'll give it a try when it's quieter, Night Sorrow said. The next battle will be a battle of attrition. You have to fight steadily. Don't take any risks, Wu Lingfei reminded Night Sorrow. Mistress Fei, don't worry. I still have a lot of things to do. I won't joke around with my life, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Living is actually a responsibility. You don't have to live for yourself. Living is meaningful to the people around you. You have to know that if something happens to you, many people will be sad. Let's not talk about anything else. Aunt Fei only has you as a relative. Wu Lingfei said sincerely. Looking at Wu Lingfei, Night Sorrow didn't say anything. He only nodded. He could feel the meaning behind Wu Lingfei's words. While Night Sorrow and Wu Lingfei were chatting, the others also got up. Some stretched their bodies, some looked outside the city to relax. Hu Xiao and Qing Mang began to arrange the cultivators' defense on the city wall. Hu Xiao arranged for Night Sorrow and the others to defend a 500-meter section of the city wall. Their responsibility was to prevent the monsters from rushing up. Captain, if we don't rush out and kill, it will be awkward. Ho Jian was very dissatisfied with this kind of defensive battle because passively taking a beating was very uncomfortable. What's the hurry? Don't you know how to play to your strengths and avoid your weaknesses? The number of monsters is astonishing now. Can you afford to fight head-on? If you want to fight, then do it when the gap is infinitely smaller, Wu Lingfei reprimanded Ho Jian. This subordinate knows his mistake. Ho Jian bowed and said, it was an honor to be reprimanded by the vice chief of the Tianji Tower. Ho Jian had to accept it. Cultivators need courage, but wisdom is also indispensable. Wu Lingfei reminded Ho Jian and the others again and directly returned to the tent. Wu Lingfei wasn't even interested in watching such a defensive battle. As for Night Sorrow's safety, she wasn't worried at all. Night Sorrow had the Spacetime Pagoda and the Golden Phoenix soft armor. Not to mention that there were no venerables among the monsters. Even if there were, it would be very difficult to kill Night Sorrow. You deserve it. Who told you to jump? You were reprimanded. Nan Liu said with a smile behind Ho Jian. You thought wrongly. It's normal to be reprimanded, Ho Jian said. The group of people talked while watching the situation outside the city wall. As time passed, more and more monsters gathered outside Xuanhuan City. There were even flying monsters. What kind of monster is that? Or is it a group? Nan Liu pointed at the monster flying above the group of monsters and said, it's a silver-winged eagle, a 4th-rank flying monster. It's very fast. If we can catch it, it'll be a high-level mount, Sikong Chuyu said. Then it'll be great if we can catch it. We'll all change our mounts, Nan Liu said. You all took the beast-taming crystal, right? If there's a chance we'll catch it, Night Sorrow said. Just as Night Sorrow was speaking, Tianyu made a move and flew directly towards the silver-winged eagle. NMBB, L he understood W is Q, Steel P version K4. Tianyu's speed had already reached a limit. His speed was extremely fast. After flying to the periphery of the silver-winged eagle group, Tianyu used void travel and then pounced. A pair of sharp claws grabbed the root of a silver-winged eagle's wing near the periphery and then flew back. At this time, the silver-winged eagle group had yet to react. By the time they reacted, Tianyu had returned to the city wall with 2 void travel and directly pressed the silver-winged eagle to the ground. Chapter 535. A genius will remember love in 1 second divided by small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow arrived in front of the silver-winged eagle and waved his reincarnation spear, stabbing it into the ground beside the silver-winged eagle's head. I'm not going to talk nonsense with you. Today you have to submit whether you want to or not. If you submit, you'll be my mount. If you don't submit, you'll immediately become my food. Remember, if you submit, your head will touch the ground. If you're too slow, you'll lose your life. Everyone looked at Night Sorrow, waiting to see how he would deal with the silver-winged eagle. You still dare to glare at me? Can you eat it? Let's begin. Seeing the silver-winged eagle staring at him, Night Sorrow slapped the silver-winged eagle's head. Then he gave Tianyu an order. However, Night Sorrow used his soul force to communicate with Tianyu, telling him to slow down and not kill him directly. Tianyu opened his sharp beak and pinched the back of the silver-winged eagle's neck. Being pinched by Tianyu's sharp beak, the silver-winged eagle's eyes were filled with panic. As Tianyu used more strength, the panic in the silver-winged eagle's eyes became more and more serious. In the end, it couldn't take it anymore and could only place its head on the ground, begging Night Sorrow for mercy. Night Sorrow took out a beast-taming crystal and told Tianyu to let go of the silver-winged eagle. With a thought, he put the silver-winged eagle into the beast-taming crystal. That's it. The onlookers were shocked. Night Sorrow subdued the silver-winged eagle too quickly. It must be known that even if other people caught a flying demonic beast, it would be very difficult to tame it. However, Night Sorrow did it in a short moment. The main reason was that Tianyu's level was high, and his soul force made the silver-winged eagle lose its ability to control itself. Night Sorrow threw the beast-taming crystal to Yang Lei and said, I still have a use for this flying mount, so I won't give it to everyone. Let's continue to catch more mounts. Once we catch more mounts, we'll change them. Captain, I want to change my mount, Nanliu said excitedly. Alright, let's begin our defense in a moment. Don't let the other silver-winged eagles attack us after Xianyu catches them, making us flustered, Night Sorrow instructed. After that, Xianyu continued to capture silver-winged eagles. Then he used Night Sorrow to intimidate and subdue them. After that, he had Nanliu put them away. Within 2 hours, Night Sorrow had changed the mounts of several members of the Tianji Tower team. However, Lei Bao and Lei Zheng were still using the Thunderbird, and Qingjun was still using the Tigerhawk. They didn't change because they had feelings for their mounts, and their mounts had room for improvement. The other reason was to give the others a chance. Ah, is it our Bloodstrike Guard's turn next? Xueling said excitedly. Of course. We have to finish this before the demonic beasts finish gathering. Otherwise it will be very troublesome if the demonic beasts start to attack. Also, pay attention to our defense. Night Sorrow said. Now, every time Qianyu caught a silver-winged eagle, a group of silver-winged eagles would chase after them and attack them. The next time the silver-winged eagles attack, I will help you. Wu Lingfei walked out of the tent. She was very clear about the commotion caused by Night Sorrow. Aunt Fei, that's not appropriate. Didn't we agree that the Venerable wouldn't help? Night Sorrow said. Wu Lingfei thought for a moment and said, that's true. You can communicate with the City Lord's mansion and get a large net. When the silver-winged eagles come over, you can use the net to capture them and then use the method just now to subdue them. This way it will be more efficient. After that, Night Sorrow communicated with the commander of the City Lord's mansion and asked for 6 or 7 large nets. Then the group got busy. Everyone used the nets to capture the silver-winged eagles, and after controlling them, they let Qianyu subdue them. Originally, the silver-winged eagles were very troublesome and disobedient. However, after being restrained by Qianyu, they became obedient and were quickly subdued. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. The commotion caused by Night Sorrow and the others was very big. The people on both sides knew what Night Sorrow and the others were doing. However, they could only be envious. First of all, the silver-winged eagles didn't go to their area because the silver-winged eagles were provoked by Qianyu when they flew over to attack. Love Gong, Little Say W, Chuqing Mang and Hu Shao came over to watch. They were very impressed by Night Sorrow and the others' method of subduing the silver-winged eagles. When they first started subduing the silver-winged eagles, it was considered a form of violent taming. After accumulating enough experience, Night Sorrow asked everyone to line up the silver-winged eagles that they had subdued along the edge of the city wall to intimidate the unsubdued silver-winged eagles. This way it would be easier to destroy the willpower of the unsubdued silver-winged eagles. The number of silver-winged eagles started to decrease. No matter how many of them there were, they couldn't withstand Night Sorrow and the others' continuous capture. When the demon beasts finished gathering in the afternoon and were about to fight as one, Night Sorrow's operation could be considered a success. Not only had all the Bloodstrike Guard's mounts been replaced, but Night Sorrow had also obtained more than 10 spares. He planned to bring them back to the Medicine Valley and give them to his senior brothers and sisters. The third-grade Green Eagle couldn't keep up with the pace anymore. The problem that I've always wanted to solve is now solved. Is everyone happy? Night Sorrow shouted at the members of the Tianji Tower team and the Bloodstrike Guard team. What answered Night Sorrow was a high-spirited roar. Last time, the captain said that he would help us get mounts if he had the chance. I thought it was a joke, but now it has become a reality. This is simply unbelievable, Nanliu said with some emotion. It wasn't that they hadn't encountered high-level flying demon beasts before, but they were very difficult to capture. Even if they did capture them, they were very difficult to tame. This was also the reason why there were so few high-level flying mounts. Not bad. It's very rare to be able to catch something before the big battle. However, there will be a process of adaptation for new flying mounts. You will have to wait until after the big battle before you use them, Wu Lingfei said. The silver-winged Eagle King didn't come over. We caught it when we came over and gave it to you as a mount, even though you don't really need it, Night Sorrow said with a smile. If you want to give it to me, I'll take it, Wu Lingfei said with a smile. Said Wu Lingfei with a smile. In truth, mounts were meaningless to her. Of course, mounts of exalts were an exception. But in fact, venerables were just a theory. Flying demonic beasts of the venerable realm were extremely powerful. It was almost impossible for them to be captured. Even if they could not fight, they could still run away. Even if they were captured, they would rather self-detonate than submit because of the dignity of the venerable realm. It was even more difficult to raise a low-level flying mount. A flying mount that could enter the third rank was very valuable in the eyes of cultivators. A flying mount that could enter the 4th rank was a top flying mount. A flying mount that had the potential to enter the 5th rank was something that could only be encountered by chance. Even if a demon beast that was tamed by a human had self-awareness, it would be very difficult for it to advance without a great opportunity. Great opportunity? If there was a great opportunity, would the master still need it? Would he give a flying mount? So the possibility of raising a flying mount to the Venerable's realm was almost impossible. While Night Sorrow and the others were chatting, the demon beasts began to attack the walls of Thousand Desolation City under the afterglow of the setting sun. Fighting at night was a bit inconvenient for human cultivators, but it didn't affect demon beasts. Many demon beasts were nocturnal, so their combat strength was higher at night. Everyone stay close to the walls. If a demon beast climbs up, just stab it to death. Pay attention to your own consumption, Night Sorrow reminded the others. While Night Sorrow and the others were fighting, the guards of Thousand Desolation City set up torches on the city walls, preparing for a night battle. Night Sorrow stood in the center area. The sky-piercing spear with the 5-clawed pterosaur tendon in his hand constantly shot out, killing the demon beasts that climbed up the walls. This greatly reduced the pressure on his companions. It could be said that there was no pressure at all. Chapter 536. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Wu Lingfei sighed with emotion as she watched Night Sorrow and the others fight. She had traveled to the 9 regions and 18 prefectures before, but she had always been alone. She had never been like Night Sorrow, fighting with his brothers and friends. She was a little envious. Yi Shan and the others were very excited about the battle, especially Lei Bao. When he was satisfied with the battle, he would roar. Even Qin Zhen, who was usually silent, would occasionally shout a few times. Seeing a white bear rushing towards the city wall, Night Sorrow violently shot the white bear with his sky-piercing spear. Then he pulled the white bear's corpse back and threw it on the city wall. I've eaten a lot of demon beast meat. Actually, bear meat is the most delicious. After the battle, we'll roast it and stew it with wine. Guard, help me find a big pot. I want to stew it. Sir, don't worry. The pot and firewood will be sent over in a while. The Thousand Desolation City guard who was holding a torch on the city wall replied loudly. Seeing Night Sorrow and the others fight so passionately, these guards were very infected. Originally, when the demon beast tide attacked, some people were very worried and afraid. If the city was broken, the consequences would be very serious. But now, Night Sorrow and the others were facing the battle with a smile. This made them feel warm and at ease. Captain, there are so many people. One is definitely not enough to eat. There's still a white bear over there. Kill it. Nan Liyue, who was some distance away from Night Sorrow, shouted. Tianyu, you go. Kill it and bring it over. Night Sorrow didn't go over and directly shouted at Tianyu. Tianyu, who was originally standing on the city wall, flapped his wings and flew towards the white bear. After a shuttle, Tianyu clawed the white bear's head. Then he exerted force with his claws and grabbed the white bear's corpse, which weighed 2,000 to 3,000 jin, and brought it to the city wall. This was Tianyu's strength. Not only was he fast, but he was also incomparably strong. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to capture and suppress the silver-winged eagle. Captain, it's fine if you're ferocious, but this Tianyu is really domineering. Lei Jing said with some emotion. Lei Jing, don't you understand that birds of a feather flock together? Tianyu was just infected by the captain's savagery. Ho Qingjie said. Alright. I was stupid. As Lei Jing spoke, he continued to kill the demonic beasts that were charging upwards. The blood-robed guards and Chenji Tower's team were very united. This had nothing to do with their background as everyone recognized each other. If anyone dared to say anything bad about Lei Jing, then Ho Jian and Ho Qingjie wouldn't be able to get over it. This was their brotherhood. Baidu search AI go female sign xiao say www.ichuxs.com. Ho Jian, get the hell out of here. What the hell are you doing? You've crossed the line. Watch your side. Nan Liyue scolded as soon as Lei Jing finished speaking. Didn't I finish killing all the demonic beasts on my side? Seeing that you have a lot of demonic beasts on your side, I decided to help you, Ho Jian said helplessly. Alright. At least you know how to do things. Nan Liyue glanced at Ho Jian. There are flying demonic beasts coming. Ninth senior sister, Chuyu, Ho Jian, Xueling, the 4 of you split up and go up to the battlements on both sides. Defend the areas in the sky that I can't take care of. Night Sorrow, who was observing the situation while fighting, gave an order. Yes. After hearing Night Sorrow's order, Yang Lei and the other 3 got into position and arranged the battle according to Night Sorrow's plan. Qin, you haven't reached the 5th stage yet, so you can't fly for long periods of time. Don't go near the outside and pay attention to whether there are poisonous beasts crawling on the ground. Ho Qingjie, come over and give everyone a detoxification pill. Then help Qin observe the surface of the walls. Knight Sorrow waved his arm and threw a bottle of detoxification pills to Ho Qingjie before continuing to fight. Master Wu Kei, our Qinji Tower finally has a successor. At this time, Qing Mang, who was wearing a mask, walked over. She knew Knight Sorrow's identity. This guy's battle awareness is very strong. Also, you don't need to call me that. Just call me senior sister. Wu Lingfei nodded at Qing Mang. The battle continued for 3 hours. The city guards of Thousand Desolation City moved. They brought a lot of kerosene over and poured it down the walls. Then they lit a fire to stop the demonic beasts from attacking and buy everyone some time to rest. The refined kerosene can burn for 2 hours. During this time, everyone needs to recover and rest. A Thousand Desolation City guard commander came over and reminded everyone. Everyone hurry up and recover. Once you're done, we'll eat. As Yi Shan spoke, he looked at the bear meat that the low-level guards of Thousand Desolation City were helping to roast, as well as the stew in the big pot. You're in good shape. You didn't use too much energy. Wu Lingfei came to Knight Sorrow's side and said, this is the benefit of body tempering. This kind of battle of attrition requires a long time. Unless it's a critical moment, I'll just use the strength of my body to fight. Therefore, I didn't consume too much energy. Knight Sorrow nodded at Wu Lingfei. Wu Lingfei looked at Yi Shang and said, not only has your combat power increased, your combat experience has also increased. This is very good. This is a sign of calmness and maturity. You are no longer the young boy who fought with Auntie Fei at East Snow Mountain. Aunt Fei, you still remember that matter. At that time, I didn't know anything and offended Aunt Fei. Knight Sorrow smiled apologetically. At that time, Aunt Fei knew that as long as you didn't fall with your unyielding spirit, you would definitely rise. Wu Lingfei said with a smile. Aunt Fei, don't praise me like that. Knight Sorrow shook his head embarrassedly. He remembered that he was quite disrespectful to Wu Lingfei. Hurry up and eat, then have a good rest. Tonight's battle won't be easy. Wu Lingfei said to Knight Sorrow. Aunt Fei won't eat with us? Knight Sorrow asked. I don't know how many years I haven't eaten in. Today's dragon meat is an exception. Wu Lingfei shook her head. Although we cultivators don't need to eat and rely on absorbing energy to survive, I feel that eating can relax the mind and respect the laws of nature. Knight Sorrow thought for a moment and said. After hearing Knight Sorrow's words, Wu Lingfei thought for a moment and pointed at Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Respect the laws of nature? Well said. In a moment, make some for Aunt Fei and call the two of them to eat in the tent. An hour later, the members of the Tianji Tower and blood-robed guards had all recovered. The battle had lasted for a long time, but it had been of average intensity and hadn't consumed much energy. Knight Sorrow called for Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu to come over. Then he cut up a few large pieces of golden roasted bear meat and used a large bowl of bear meat soup to bring to Wu Lingfei's tent. This looks appetizing. 13, bring me some wine. Yang Lei rolled up her sleeves and said. Knight Sorrow smiled and took out a jar of wine. Then he took out a small knife to cut the bear meat into small pieces and poured a bowl of soup for everyone. I don't feel any pressure, Wu Lingfei said after taking off her veil and looking at Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Even if the sky falls, the big ones will hold it up. We're just in charge of fighting and doing our own thing, Sikong Chuyu said. Chapter 537. Geniuses remember love in 1 second divided by small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. I've tried my best. In fact, there's no need to think about the results. Sometimes it's better to be simple, Knight Sorrow said. It's better to be simple. Perhaps you are a simple and uncomplicated person. How many people can see through simple principles? Wu Lingfei said as she took a sip of wine from her bowl. Auntie Fei, this guy is talking nonsense. Don't take it to heart, Sikong Chuyu said. She knew that Knight Sorrow's words had affected Wu Lingfei. Ah, this is not nonsense. Auntie Fei has observed that Knight Sorrow's actions and words sometimes contain deep philosophies, Wu Lingfei said with a smile. After eating, Knight Sorrow led the two women out of the tent and looked at the other brothers. If you don't have enough wine, I still have some here. But don't drink too much. We still have to continue fighting in a while. Knight Sorrow said. Everyone is almost done. Let's prepare for battle. Xueling said as he stood up. Then the Tianji Tower team and the Blood Strike guards gathered in front of the city wall. The situation is still very stable now, but it's hard to say what will happen next. We have to prepare for the worst. Be prepared for the monsters to rush up. When the monsters come up, we have to team up and fight. Remember, brothers are our strongest support. As long as we have brothers behind us, we don't have to worry about being attacked from behind. Similarly, we have to be good brothers' backs. Love Gong Little Say W. Chu Knight Sorrow looked at the Bloodstrike Guards and the Tianji Tower team members and instructed them. Bang, bang. The response to Knight Sorrow was a uniform sound. This was the sound of the Bloodstrike Guards and the Tianji Tower team members holding weapons in their right hands and smashing their left hands on their left chest. The Bloodstrike Guards were all wearing armor, so the sound was very crisp and spread far and wide. Brothers are not words. They are actions. Alright, prepare for battle. Knight Sorrow gave the order and went to the middle area to start defending. Actually, you can form them into a team. You'll be fighting outside anyway, so there's no need for two teams. Wu Lingfei came to Knight Sorrow's side and said, "That's not very appropriate. First of all, Tianji Tower's team belongs to Tianjin Tower, while the Bloodstrike Guards belong to the City Lord's mansion. However, when we have time, we will need to get some Bloodstrike Guard armor for our brothers in Tianjin Tower," Knight Sorrow said. "As for the issue of armor, we can resolve it once we return to the Eastern Shen region. As for the issue of belonging to different teams, it's not a big deal. You can form a team of your own free will, and it won't conflict with your background. Also, this fifth team was formed by Aunt Fei. Aunt Fei will help you arrange it later," said Wu Lingfei. As a bystander, Wu Lingfei discovered that although Knight Sorrow's subordinates were very united, the two groups still affected their strength. After Wu Lingfei finished speaking, the flames under the city walls were extinguished, and the densely packed monstrous beasts once again began to charge. "Tianyu, Silver Fox, you two take it easy. Don't stray too far from me." Knight Sorrow shouted to Tianyu and Silver Fox, who were lying on the battlements on either side of him. Then, he brandished his heaven-piercing spear and began to shoot the monstrous beasts. Knight Sorrow had extracted 2 tendons from the 5-clawed pterosaur, which were both extremely elastic and tough. Furthermore, they were even longer than the tendons of the Ice Flood Dragon, which made it very convenient for Knight Sorrow to use them. As Knight Sorrow threw his heaven-piercing spear, countless monstrous beasts that had climbed up the city walls were shot to death by Knight Sorrow. The battle grew more and more intense. 5th-grade monstrous beasts and flying monstrous beasts continued to attack from the sky. However, before Knight Sorrow and the others could make a move, the city guards of the Thousand Desolation City had already shot them down with their ballistae. As a strategic city in the realm of unbounded desolation, the Thousand Desolation City was well stocked with strategic weapons and resources. Furthermore, low-tier cultivators were constantly running up the city walls to deliver resources such as ballistae and kerosene. Brothers and sisters who have consumed a lot of energy, retreat and recover. We need to maintain our battle prowess at all times and deal with any unexpected situations, Knight Sorrow shouted. Soon after, some of them retreated to rest. Everyone knew that this was going to be a long battle, and not the time to fight head-on. Knight Sorrow held the reincarnation spear in his right hand, while his left hand continuously shot out heaven-piercing spears. Knight Sorrow didn't just kill a monstrous beast with his heaven-piercing spears. As he waved his arms, the heaven-piercing spears and the dragon tendons vibrated as if they were sharp weapons. The monstrous beasts that were cut by the dragon tendons also fell off the city walls with their heads and legs cut off. Is there something wrong with the designer of the city walls? It's high enough, but why didn't they make it steeper? Why did they have to have a small slope to let the monstrous beasts rush up? There's something wrong with their heads. Lei Bao cursed. You're the one who's stupid. If there wasn't a slope and the city walls were built straight up and down, wouldn't the top of the city walls collapse after being hit by a few large monstrous beasts? Nan Liyue, who wasn't far from Lei Bao, replied. Lei Bao thought for a moment and said, "That's true. It's not good to make it too steep. However, this slope is pretty disgusting. Guard it well. It's a principle that exists. Let's not comment on it," Knight Sorrow said as he fought. "Look at Captain's state of mind and then look at yours. The difference is really too big." Nan Liyue once again disdained Lei Bao. "Ah, you can continue to attack me. I don't care." Lei Bao laughed loudly. After joking with each other for a long time, Lei Bao had long gotten used to Nan Liyue's sharpness. "Alright. I admit that you've tempered your state of mind," Nan Liyue said with a smile. "A head equals hair." Knight Sorrow didn't care about their bickering and continued to fight with the monstrous beasts that were charging up. Why are there more and more monstrous beasts? Look, even the single-horned elephants are here. I hope they won't cause too much damage to the city walls. Ho Jian said as he looked at the single-horned elephants that were running in front of the city walls. "You guys guard it. I'll go kill them. The city walls still have to be protected. Knight Sorrow raised his chi shield and flew towards the single-horned elephants. He didn't want the single-horned elephants to threaten the city walls. He didn't know how long the monstrous beast wave would last. If the monstrous beasts destroyed the city walls early, it would be troublesome. Humans and monstrous beasts that entered the 5th rank could fly, but there were differences in flying speed. The principle of flying was to control the rotation of the chi shield. If the chi shield rotated towards the front, it would be flying towards the front. If it rotated towards the back, it would be flying backwards. The same principle applied to turning in left and right. If one could control the speed well, they would be able to fly. Knight Sorrow jumped down from the city walls and rushed towards the single-horned elephant. Knight Sorrow didn't put the single-horned elephant in his eyes. Its advantage was its large body and strength, but it also had many shortcomings. The biggest one was that it wasn't agile. When Knight Sorrow was about to reach the single-horned elephant, he shot the sky-piercing spear at it. When the sky-piercing spear was about to hit the single-horned elephant's head, the single-horned elephant swung its trunk and shook the sky-piercing spear away. Then the injured trunk swung and wrapped around the dragon tendon, pulling Knight Sorrow over. Chapter 538. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go/Little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Knight Sorrow's speed was extremely fast. Being pulled by the single-horned elephant's trunk, his speed became even faster. The single-horned elephant that had just used its trunk to pull Knight Sorrow over could only turn its head to dodge. Knight Sorrow didn't care if he attacked from the head or the side of its head. As long as the spear could pierce through, nothing else mattered. Wuxia. Knight Sorrow's spear pierced through the single-horned elephant's head from behind its ear. Following that, the spiraling energy exploded, turning the single-horned elephant's head into paste. After killing this single-horned elephant, Knight Sorrow charged towards the second one. At the same time, he shouted towards the city wall to increase the vigilance. This was because at this moment, many rank 5 demonic beasts had arrived. They were all flying over, and there were many more rank 5 demonic beasts than before. Knight Sorrow's body flashed as he shuttled through the group of demonic beasts. He aimed at the single-horned elephants to kill them. He wanted to first deal with the crisis of destroying the city wall. After a moment, 4 single-horned elephants were killed by Knight Sorrow. His body flashed as he dodged the attacks of the demonic beasts. Knight Sorrow once again flew back to the city wall and attacked the rank 5 demonic beasts in the sky. At this moment, the city guarding crossbows on the city wall also displayed their might. They continuously shot out their crossbows, injuring and killing the rank 5 demonic beasts. Steady your footing. 2 people in each group attacked the demonic beasts in the sky. The rest of you continue to guard the city wall. Knight Sorrow ordered. A bloody battle. Following the attack of the rank 5 demonic beasts, a real bloody battle began on the city wall. Xianxia continuously attacked from the sky. The guards of the Thousand Desolation City knew that these demonic beasts belonged to their own people, so Xianxia wouldn't be attacked by the city guarding crossbows. Knight Sorrow handed over his position to Lei Bao and then joined the battle on the city wall. He continuously waved his reincarnation spear, killing the rank 5 demonic beasts that were charging at him. Zuo's new $** Chapter 3 Super Youth Blood-robed guards also shot flying swords at the rank 5 demonic beasts in their free time. 15 minutes later, this wave of impact finally ended. Some of you, go and throw the corpses down the walls. Don't get in the way when the battle starts. Knight Sorrow once again returned to the front of the walls to defend. At the same time, he issued another order. Knight Sorrow's side didn't suffer any casualties, not even any injuries. However, it was a different story for the other defensive zones. Casualties and injuries could be found everywhere. Therefore, the commanders of the realm of unbounded desolation began to arrange for the reinforcements. Those who have expended a lot of energy exchange for recovery. No matter what, you must maintain a certain level of combat power. Brandishing his reincarnation spear, Knight Sorrow continued to deploy his troops while continuously killing the demonic beasts that were charging at him. It's still challenging. I thought it was boring. Ho Jin wiped the sweat from his forehead. After holding on for less than an hour, the guards of the Thousand Desolation City came again to pour the kerosene and ignite it. By doing this, he could burn the corpses of the demonic beasts and block their attacks. Yes, the smell of burning demonic beasts is very fragrant. Lei Bao sniffled and said, "Find a place to recover and rest. Nan Liyue, distribute them." Knight Sorrow waved his hand and told everyone to sit down and recover. Then he handed Nan Liyue some high-grade spirit stones and told her to distribute them. The impact of this wave of demonic beasts had been very strong. Although they hadn't been injured, they had consumed a lot of energy. This meant that they needed to recover quickly. They didn't have enough time to refine medicinal pills, and it wasn't very convenient. At this time, other than origin elixir, spirit stones were the best choice. Nan Liue didn't hesitate and directly distributed the high-grade spirit stones. Even Qin Zhen and Ho Qingjie, who couldn't use high-grade spirit stones, received them. Don't play games at this time. Recover at full speed. After Yi Shang finished speaking, he took out a black tortoise crystal and a black jade stone. He sat cross-legged on top of it and began to recover. During this period of time, Yi Shang had used up 30% of his energy. If even he had used up 30%, then the others would be in a much worse state. Half an hour later, people got up one after another. With the help of high-grade spirit stones, their recovery was naturally fast. Those who recovered continued to add fire to the roasted bear meat near the city wall. They also heated up the meat soup so that everyone could drink a bowl of meat soup after resting. After Night Sorrow recovered to his peak state, he got up and put away the black jade. Then he stood in front of the battlements and observed the situation of the demonic beasts under the night sky. Did you find anything? Wu Lingfei came to Night Sorrow's side. I can't see anything in terms of quantity, but in terms of quality, it seems to be inferior to the time in the Thousand Desolation Mountain range. Night Sorrow said his observation. Because their purpose is different. At that time they didn't launch a demonic beast tide but a war. Now it's just an ordinary demonic beast tide. The strong ones with potential have already retreated. Wu Lingfei said. In other words, the ones attacking now are all cannon fodder. The elites are no longer here. Night Sorrow understood the meaning of Wu Lingfei's words. Yes, as long as you can hold on for 3 days, then the next 3 days won't be difficult. However, these 3 days will be very difficult. Will be a great test for you. Wu Lingfei nodded. Night Sorrow understood the difficulty. These demonic beasts were cannon fodder, so they weren't afraid of death. Even if they couldn't kill the human cultivators, they would still exhaust the human cultivators. This was the demonic beast tide. They've almost recovered. Gather them. And Fei will talk later. Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. Then Night Sorrow gathered everyone. Bloodstrike Guard, you're from the City Lord's mansion. Tianji Tower, you're from the Eastern Xian region's Tianjin Tower. Although you have a deep friendship, you're not a team after all. It's not appropriate for you to fight as 2 teams. Now that the team has been reorganized, you can choose whether to join or not. As long as you don't betray the Eastern Xian region or Tianjin Tower, no one will say anything against you. Of course, it's your freedom to choose. Night Sorrow, you deal with it. Wu Lingfei took 2 steps back after giving her instructions. Everyone is willing, but the new team will still have the same principles as before. You can't betray your brothers, the Eastern Xian region or Tianjin Tower. Most importantly, you can't betray the team. Night Sorrow said. Captain, it's not that troublesome. We joined the Tianji Tower, but we didn't sell ourselves to the Tianjin Tower. We're free to do whatever we want. I'll join, Lei Bao said. You talk too much. Don't talk too much. Nan Liue glanced at Wu Lingfei and said. She was worried that Lei Bao's words would anger Wu Lingfei. Just say what you want to say. In your captain's words, it's better to be simple, Wu Lingfei said. If you're willing, take a step forward, Night Sorrow said as he looked at the group of people. Soon after, the members of the Heaven's Fate Royal Palace took a step forward. Captain, the existence of the Bloodstrike Guard is to defend the dignity of the Eastern Xian region. On this basis, we're willing to follow you to conquer the world, Xueling said. Chapter 539. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by small? We will provide you with wonderful novels to read. After the team was reorganized, Night Sorrow appointed 2 vice captains. One was Xueling and the other was Ho Jian. In addition, Night Sorrow let Nan Liue be in charge of the team's resources. She was also the team's resource manager. Baidu search AI go female sign xiao say www.aichuxs.com. Back then my granduncle said that we might be competitors in the Eastern Xian region, but outside of the Eastern Xian region, we are brothers who fight side by side. I didn't expect that we would reach this step so quickly. Ho Jian looked at Night Sorrow and said with some emotion. Everyone is a fighting team. Let's not talk about the past. In the future, there will be no distinction between each other, no background, and only brothers. Night Sorrow said. Okay, you guys reorganize yourselves. Wu Lingfei said. We need a more domineering name. To be honest, it's really troublesome to fight in 2 teams. Although we don't want to, we still have to distinguish between each other in our hearts. It's so boring. Lei Jing said. Love Go Small Say, Chew, so Auntie Faye saw this point and asked us to reorganize. As for the name, everyone can slowly think about it. Now, everyone go drink a bowl of hot soup and prepare for battle. This is going to be a tough battle. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow went to the big pot and took a bowl of hot soup from Nan Liue. In a while, the fire under the city wall will be extinguished. We still have to continue fighting. This battle will last for a long time. Don't extinguish the fire here. Kill the rare demon beasts and we will continue to roast and stew them. Night Sorrow said as he drank the soup. Hey buddy. We are fighting so hard. Tell your boss to send some good wine. Lei Bao shouted at a city guard not far away. I will definitely report. The city guard nodded and turned to leave. Liue, here are the clear void pill, detoxification pill and high-grade crystals. There are also some mid-grade crystals. If everyone needs them you can distribute them. Night Sorrow threw a storage belt to Nan Liue. Love Go Small Say, Chu caret X equals standard H version een het her T, I Nan Liue, swear that I will never be greedy for any of the team's resources. Otherwise I will be struck by lightning. Nan Liue took the storage ring and swore before anyone could react. Nan Liue, what are you doing? We're all brothers and sisters. Captain's arrangement is also out of trust. Do you have to do this? Ho Jian said somewhat angrily. Night Sorrow's expression wasn't very good either because Nan Liue had the intention to avoid arousing suspicion. Captain, I'm sorry. I was impulsive. Seeing that Night Sorrow's expression wasn't good, Nan Liue knew that her behavior was a little inappropriate. I've said it before, brothers can be each other's back. Is there anyone who doesn't believe me? Night Sorrow said. But Captain, isn't this your personal resource? Nan Liue thought of the key question. Don't worry, it doesn't matter how many resources we have as long as we have enough. I'll leave this matter to you. If there's a shortage, look for me. Night Sorrow nodded to Nan Liue. Everyone drank some meat soup and then began to prepare for the upcoming battle. This time the division of labor was more clear. Xue Ling led half of the troops to defend the city wall while Ho Jian led the other half to fill in the gaps. After that, they would be responsible for covering the sky. After the flames were extinguished, the demonic beasts continued to attack. However, the demonic beasts that climbed the city wall were all below the 5th rank. They did not pose much of a threat to the troops guarding the city wall. After all, there were not many 5th-rank demonic beasts. 5th-rank cultivators were rare experts. A few years ago, the highest cultivation base in the Medicine Valley was only at the peak void inquiry stage. It was the same in the world of demonic beasts. It was not easy to reach the 5th rank. In addition, the 3-legged ape king and the 2-headed flood dragon king would not send their 5th-rank demonic beasts to their deaths continuously. The demonic beasts that were sent to their deaths were those that did not have much potential to develop. After a few waves of battle, dawn arrived. After daybreak, the supplies from the unbounded desolation region arrived. Some resources were distributed to the troops guarding the city. Everyone was risking their lives to defend Thousand Desolation City and fight for the unbounded desolation region. Of course, the unbounded desolation region would not be stingy. They had also distributed some spirit stones to everyone. Not bad. It's better than nothing. Nan Liue said. After receiving the resources, everyone handed them to Nan Liue. Ah, our general manager is also very rich now. Ho Jian said. After that, someone sent a storage belt to them. It was filled with fine wine. Ah, the wine came at the right time. These 2 golden cows will be ready to be eaten in a while. Lei Bao, who was roasting the golden cows, suddenly shouted. Dawn had arrived. Even though the human cultivators did not have any fuel to light the fire and the demonic beasts had retreated, they still needed to rest. Ho Jian, Xue Ling, Liue, the resources that the unbounded desolation region sent to us just now belong to everyone. It's not very appropriate to store them in the team's storage. Night Sorrow said. Let's discuss it slowly and come up with a more appropriate team rule. Ho Jian said. Then you guys can discuss it later. Night Sorrow nodded. He did not want to get involved in these matters. It was fine as long as it was fair. After that, Lei Bao called for everyone to eat. Night Sorrow once again made some food and brought it into the tent. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu also brought wine into the tent. In a team, friendship is one thing, but we still need to have a system for resources. After all, everyone needs it. Wu Lingfei said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew the importance of this. Once fairness was lost in a team, it would easily lead to conflicts. Even if it was not a psychological problem, it would still cause negative emotions. Such negative emotions were fatal hidden dangers in a team. After eating, Xue Ling arranged for people to be on guard while the others began to meditate. After a high-intensity battle, it was easiest to improve one's cultivation base. Knight Sorrow took the black tortoise crystal and sat on the black ice jade to cultivate. As his compatibility with Shao Kong improved, the energy that Shao Kong provided to Knight Sorrow also increased. At present, it was almost the same as the energy that Knight Sorrow absorbed on the 60th floor of the Time and Space Treasure Pagoda. In other words, as long as Knight Sorrow could refine it, the energy would be endless. The monsters were very stable. There was no movement until noon. At this time, Knight Sorrow also stopped cultivating. He was still a little worried that the monsters were so quiet. He was worried that they were up to something. There is nothing to worry about. This is a war of attrition and protracted. In the eyes of the Monster Kings, even if the monsters are eliminated, their deaths will be worth it. The monster's combat power is not as good during the day as it is at night. In addition, fighting at night will cause more damage to the human cultivators. The psychological pressure will also be greater, Wu Lingfei said to Knight Sorrow. Becoming a God with All Tao, first release. No subscription required. Fans who want to read it first can come to the Cool Craftsman Reading Group, 332448350. In other words, the battle will still be carried out at night? Knight Sorrow asked. That should be the case. The team you led didn't suffer any casualties, so they didn't feel anything. The surrounding defense areas have endured the battle last night, and at least 1/3 of them have died. It's a huge consumption. Actually, it's a success for the demon beast. Some of the demon beasts that were about to be eliminated managed to kill the elites of the human cultivators. It's a profit for them, Wu Lingfei said. Including the cities that they destroyed a while ago, they have profited greatly from this beast tide. Knight Sorrow frowned. Chapter 540. A genius remembers love in 1 second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. That's the situation after Auntie Faye arrives. If she doesn't, the realm of unbounded desolation will be in big trouble. It won't be a matter of consumption, but a matter of falling into enemy hands, Knight Sorrow said. Actually, Aunt Faye can stop the flood, but that's against the will of the heavens, Wu Lingfei explained. If she killed the 3-legged ape king and the 2-headed WRM king, the problem of the beast tide would be solved. However, the beast tide was in accordance with the laws of nature. If she interfered, she would be tainted with unnecessary karma. People have to experience things to grow, even though it's a little cruel. Otherwise, if we live too comfortably, we won't be able to resist when the demon beasts take over the realm of unbounded desolation, Knight Sorrow said. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Wu Lingfei nodded. Yes, that's the truth. Living in troubled times makes one's combat strength and adaptability stronger. Living too comfortably isn't a good thing. Wu Lingfei nodded. She admired Knight Sorrow's ability to understand things. There were some things that Knight Sorrow could understand without her saying them. After chatting for a while, Wu Lingfei went back to meditate. She had come out to communicate with Knight Sorrow and help him improve his experience and endurance. As the sun set, the battle resumed. After a day of gathering, the number of demon beasts had increased, and the degree of the impact had increased. After the battle began, Knight Sorrow walked along the city wall to prevent the large demon beasts from attacking. After all, the city wall was the key to the survival of the realm of unbounded desolation. Once the city wall collapsed, it would be a serious problem. At that time, a huge number of demon beasts would charge straight into the city. Not to mention their combat strength, just their numbers alone could kill people. This Heaven's Extremity envoy is indeed powerful, Qing Meng said as she walked up to Wu Lingfei with a team of supplies. They're a bit younger. They just need to gain more experience. That's why I brought them out this time, Wu Lingfei said. Qing Meng nodded. She knew that it was a coincidence that Wu Lingfei had come to the realm of unbounded desolation to bring Knight Sorrow to the realm of unbounded desolation, which made Qing Meng very glad. After all, if Wu Lingfei hadn't come, the realm of unbounded desolation would have fallen into the enemy's hands. After killing the large demonic beasts that could threaten the city wall, Knight Sorrow once again returned to the city wall. Knight Sorrow's original position was blocked by Lei Bao. He took a few steps back, drank a few mouthfuls of wine, and observed the overall situation. Love, Gone Little Say, W. Chu. After looking at the situation, Knight Sorrow was very relieved. Without a venerable opponent, it would be very difficult to deal fatal damage to a group of people. Knight Sorrow's group's defense was impregnable. However, the other areas were not the same. Miserable cries of cultivators could be heard from time to time. Everyone be careful. Also, those in charge of air patrol, don't be careless. Pay attention to the situation at all times, Knight Sorrow said, and then sat down to meditate and recover. This was Night Sorrow's strategy. As long as there was an opportunity, everyone had to seize the opportunity to recover. They had to maintain as high a level of combat strength as possible. Once Yi Shang had recovered, he went to take the place of the others. With Night Sorrow's participation, the pressure on everyone was greatly reduced. This was because Night Sorrow's sky-piercing spear, which was tied with the tendons of the five-clawed pterosaur, was extremely powerful. As long as a demonic beast appeared around him, it would be shot to death. Every once in a while, a guard would pour oil down the city wall to buy time for everyone. While everyone was resting, they saw the city guards continuously carrying corpses down the city wall. Their hearts were greatly shaken. There were too many people who had died and they couldn't bear to look at it. However, there were still other cultivators who took their places. Some people knew that they would die, but they still fought bravely and did not retreat. This was the power of faith and protection. Because once the Thousand Desolation City fell, their families would face the threat of the demonic beasts. Could even be said that they would die an unnatural death. The night passed and the battle stopped when the sun rose. At this time, the city wall was almost dyed red with blood. There were traces of the demonic beasts that rushed up, and there were also traces of the rank 5 demonic beasts that flew up and were killed. How is everyone? After the battle stopped, Night Sorrow looked at the group of people and asked. Very good, there are no problems. Everyone bowed and said, That's good. Your own safety comes first. Night Sorrow reminded the group of people. Next, the human cultivators endured for 2 days. In the end, there were countless casualties. However, they also killed half of the demonic beasts. The main reason was that the demonic beasts had paid a huge price when climbing the city wall. The upper echelons of the human camp gathered together for a meeting to discuss how to deal with the next problem. Hu Xiao and Qing Meng invited Wu Lingfei to join, but Wu Lingfei was not interested in this meeting. She was here to take care of Night Sorrow. Killing the 5-clawed pterosaur was just a matter of convenience. The 5-clawed pterosaur's luck was quite bad. She did not plan to care about other things. In the end, the result of the discussion was a counterattack. The human cultivators would take the initiative to attack and disrupt the demonic beast's formation. This way, the demonic beasts would not be able to attack in an orderly manner, and the threat would be reduced by a lot. Then this order was passed down. When they heard the drums, they would rush down the city wall and fight with the demonic beasts. When they heard the gong, they would immediately retreat. Night Sorrow and the others were also notified. Night Sorrow, do you have any questions? If you do, then Aunt Fei can say hello. We are here to help, there is no need to fight to the death. Wu Lingfei asked. No problem. Everyone will maintain their fighting strength. If we really can't hold on, we will retreat. Night Sorrow nodded. As long as you know what to do, no one can force you to do anything. Wu Lingfei said. She was reminding Night Sorrow that if he did not want to fight, then he did not have to. Auntie Fei, that silver-winged eagle king won't come over. I was going to capture it and give it to Auntie Fei, but this guy won't give me the chance, Yi Shan said as he looked at the silver-winged eagle king flying back and forth in the sky. It also depends on fate. It can't be helped if it doesn't come. Wu Lingfei said with a smile. When the human cultivators were almost ready, Qing Meng also gave the order for a full-scale counterattack. Night Sorrow asked Nan Liyue to bring Ho Qingjie, Qin Zhen, and a few others to the city wall to provide support. Then he led the people down the city wall and rushed towards the demonic beasts. Night Sorrow did this because he did not want Ho Qingjie and Qin Zhen to take the risk. After all, the two of them had not officially entered the 5th rank. If they were surrounded and could not fly out, then it would be a big problem. After fighting with the demonic beasts, Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear. Every strike was fatal. No demonic beast could withstand it. Second brother, we have suffered a big loss this time. On the mountain behind the demonic beasts, the 3-legged ape king and the 2-headed flood dragon king were talking. Chapter 541. A genius remembers love in 1 second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. There's nothing we can do about it. We can only say that Big Brother's luck is bad. The 3-legged ape king's voice was very loud, and there was a hint of nostalgia in his voice. After that person appeared, victory was no longer on our side. There's no point in using force. Big Brother, you're just being stubborn. I didn't want to start a war in the first place. This is also the reason why I didn't come in the first place, the 2-headed WRM king said. The 3-legged ape king looked off into the distance in the direction of the Thousand Desolation City, a yearning look in his eyes as he said, This is your destiny, Big Brother. Like we said before, we only need to maintain half of the territory in the realm of unbounded desolation. If we want to unify the realm of unbounded desolation, The human cultivators from the other 8 realms will definitely interfere. Alright. Third brother, this is our fortune. The other party didn't intend to be ruthless. Otherwise it would really be like that saying. If we don't grasp the opportunity, bad things will happen, the two-headed WRM king said. Now that big brother has been killed, how are we going to explain it to that person? There was a hint of trembling in his voice. If one were to observe carefully, they would realize that it was fear. What do you need from us? He was the one who started the war with the humans. We couldn't stop him. It was killed by a human saint. If you want to take revenge, go find a human saint. There was some dissatisfaction in the two-headed dragon's words. Second brother, do you still remember what happened back then? The three-legged ape king asked the two-headed WRM king. I'll never forget that even without that inheritance, I still managed to cultivate to the peak of the venerable realm. Third brother, just watch from here. Second brother had returned. As for the outcome of the beast tide, there was no need to care about it. So what if they manage to take down this city? In the end, they'll still be slowly taken back by the humans. Without an advantage in terms of peak combat power, it's meaningless. The two-headed WRM king flashed and left after saying that. He didn't care about this battle at all. The three-legged ape king looked in the direction the two-headed WRM king left and then at the Thousand Desolation City. He knew that the two-headed WRM king was right. Even if they took down the Thousand Desolation City, the humans would still push it back. The two-headed flood dragon king's judgment was very accurate. The tri-legged ape king was very clear about this. After knowing the two-headed flood dragon for thousands of years, he knew the two-headed flood dragon king very well. If the five-clawed pterosaur hadn't obtained an opportunity, the two-headed flood dragon king's achievements wouldn't be lower than his. Yishan led his men to kill for a while. After killing for more than an hour, the sound of a gong came from the top of the city wall. Seeing that the brothers behind him had retreated, Night Sorrow rushed back to the city wall. Thank you. Night Sorrow took the bowl of soup and said, We should thank you, Captain. When we charge, Captain is at the front. When we retreat, Captain is at the back. We will remember this. Nan Liu said. Hee, let's not talk about this. If the demonic beasts don't charge, we will cut the meat and drink. Night Sorrow said with a smile. It was daytime now, so the demonic beasts generally didn't charge. The demonic beasts really didn't charge. The human camp's counterattack just now had caused them a lot of damage. Since the demonic beasts didn't charge, Night Sorrow and the others began to eat and drink. They began to eat heartily. This is the life a man should live. Licking the blood on the blade, eating meat in big mouthfuls and drinking wine in big mouthfuls. Lei Bao chewed on the barbecued meat while waving his hand and shouting. Why don't I want to listen to your words? What's wrong with women? Ninth senior sister, is it because Chuyu's fighting strength is not enough? Nan Liu glared at Lei Bao. Ninth senior sister, big sister Chuyu, that's not what I meant. Nan Liu, if you have something to say, just say it. What's the point of talking nonsense? Lei Bao glared at Nan Liu and said. You're the one who said it, not me, Nan Liu said as she ate. Alright, let's talk about the name of our team. Night Sorrow interrupted Lei Bao and Nan Liu's bickering. Captain, whatever you say, it's the name. Ho Jian said. If we want to make a name for ourselves in the Eastern Xian region, we have to kill everyone in our way. God-slaying team. What do you think? Night Sorrow looked at the group and asked. Kill everyone in our way. 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 The 30 over people in front of Night Sorrow waved their arms. Night Sorrow's aura infected everyone and everyone shouted. One day the name of the God-slaying team will resound throughout this world. Night Sorrow nodded and made a promise. This name is a little big, but Aunt Fei believes that you can carry it. Wu Ling Fei came in front of Night Sorrow and said. Aunt Fei, we won't lose the face of the Eastern Xian region. Night Sorrow said. When you said the name of the God-slaying team, some karma already existed. Some things have already become fixed. Wu Ling Fei said. Aunt Fei, is it that serious? Night Sorrow looked at Wu Ling Fei with some surprise. Let's not talk about this. It seems that this beast tide will be like this. It shouldn't be able to cause any big waves. Wu Ling Fei looked at the city wall and said. The overall situation is like this, but if we want to end it, we still have to pay a big price. Night Sorrow said. The demonic beast's aura had been suppressed, but there were still many of them. Demonic beasts weren't afraid of death. Even if they died, if there was a chance, they would still take a bite out of you. Victory always comes with a price. Only those who pay a price are worth cherishing. Wu Ling Fei nodded. At this time, Night Sorrow looked outside the city wall. The silver-winged eagle king was circling a little close to the city wall. From time to time, it would let out a piercing cry. This was because the members of the god-slaying team were training the newly captured silver-winged eagles. Xianxia and the others were still sitting on the back of the silver-winged eagle king, circling above the city wall. This made the silver-winged eagle king very angry. His own kind had been captured and tamed. This made the silver-winged eagle king feel that the dignity of his race had been trampled on. At this time, Xianyu flapped his wings and rose into the sky. The others could ignore the silver-winged eagle king's clamor, but he couldn't stand it. What's going on? Yang Lei looked at the sky with some surprise. At this time, Xianyu and the silver-winged eagle king were fighting in the sky between the Thousand Desolation City and the demonic beast camp. Xianyu can't stand it. The silver-winged eagle king's attitude is to fight. Night Sorrow said. I'll go help Xianyu kill it. Yang Lei released her dark feathered eagle and was about to join the battle. Don't go. This is a battle of kings in the sky. Let Xianyu deal with it himself. Although his cultivation isn't as good as his opponent's, it doesn't mean his combat strength is higher. Wu Lingfei stopped Yang Lei. But Xianyu will be injured. Yang Lei said. Which king doesn't have corpses strewn all over their path? So what if he's injured? The glory of a king must be fought for. Wu Lingfei shook her head. Chapter 542. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? I will provide you with interesting novels to read. Wu Lingfei shook her head at Night Sorrow. Of course, she knew what Night Sorrow was thinking about. However, why would she care about that? Love go little say, Chu. At this moment, Xianyu and the silver-winged eagle king were fighting fiercely. Both of them were flying in the sky. Their wings and claws were filled with wind blades and astral chi, slashing at each other. If they are at the same level, the silver-winged eagle king won't be able to fight against Xianyu. Night Sorrow said. Currently, Xianyu was at the 4th level of the Void Inquiry stage while the silver-winged eagle king was at the 8th level. There was a difference of 4 levels between them. Even so, Xianyu was not at a disadvantage. Of course, their innate talents are completely different. Besides, Xianyu is fighting with only one attribute and he is hiding his true strength. Let's watch quietly first. Wu Lingfei said. Xianyu and the silver-winged eagle king were circling in the sky and attacking each other. However, the probability of them hitting each other was not high because both of them were demonic beasts that specialized in speed. Even though Night Sorrow was a little anxious, he could only endure it. He had always wanted to capture the silver-winged eagle king, but he had never thought of letting Xianyu fight on his own. The battle continued. Both of them were extremely fast. They were flying back and forth in the sky, leaving afterimages behind. If this continues, Night Sorrow's mount will be the first to run out of energy. Qing Meng, who was walking towards them, said. Xianyu still has a backup plan. Wu Lingfei turned her head to look at Qing Meng and said. At this moment, the battle between the kings of the flying beasts in the sky had already become the focus of everyone's attention. Even the demonic beasts were watching because the silver-winged eagle king was the leader of the flying demonic beasts in the sky. At this moment, Xianyu, who was flying above the silver-winged eagle king, let out a cry. An energy shadow that was as big as his body appeared. Then the energy shadow seemed to travel through space and directly hit the silver-winged eagle king's body. With a muffled sound, the protective chi shield on the silver-winged eagle king's body was shattered. At the same time, its feathers were blown away. What kind of ultimate skill is this? Qing Meng's eyes were filled with shock because Tianyu's move was extremely heaven-defying, directly injuring the silver-winged eagle king who was still at his peak. Qing Meng was not the only one who was shocked. Hu Xiao and the people from the city lord's mansion who were watching the battle from other positions on the city wall were also shocked. What was even more shocking was that Heavenly Feather screeched again. She used Void Jump and appeared behind the silver-winged eagle king. Her sharp claws dug into the back of the silver-winged eagle king's spine. Her green-gold beak stabbed towards the back of the silver-winged eagle king's head, which was raised up in pain. Baidu search AI go female sign xiao say www.ichuxs. Com Tianyu, don't kill him. I want him alive. Night Sorrow shouted anxiously when he saw that Tianyu was going to kill him. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Tianyu's sharp beak changed its attack path and bit the silver-winged eagle king's neck. Then he flew towards the city wall. After landing on the city wall, Tianyu pressed the silver-winged eagle king on the ground. Night Sorrow went over and directly asked the silver-winged eagle king whether it submitted or not. If it refused, he would let Tianyu kill it. Baidu search AI go female sign xiao say www.ichuxs. What answered Night Sorrow was the silver-winged eagle king's angry screeches. Even when Xianyu twisted its neck with force, it did not submit. After cultivating to the 8th void inquiry stage and commanding flying demonic beasts for a long time, the silver-winged eagle king already had the aura of a superior being. How could it submit easily? After a long time, the silver-winged eagle king's body was covered in blood, but it still refused to submit. Aunt Fei, I want to subdue it and give it to you, but it won't work. This fellow just won't submit. I can only cook it into soup. Night Sorrow said helplessly as he came to Wu Ling Fei. You can't subdue it? Ask Xianyu to stand up. Aunt Fei will give it a try. Wu Ling Fei came to the front of the silver-winged eagle king. As Night Sorrow communicated with the silver-winged eagle king, Xianyu, who was covered in blood, jumped down from the eagle king's back. Xianyu pulled out his sharp claws and the silver-winged eagle king let out a miserable shriek. Wu Ling Fei waved her left hand and a faint green energy fell on the silver-winged eagle king's body. Along with this energy, the eagle king's injuries began to heal in front of everyone's eyes. Wu Ling Fei looked at the silver-winged eagle king. Her eyes flashed and her soul force and aura force rushed towards the eagle king. As Wu Ling Fei released her soul force, the silver-winged eagle king's body trembled. Even Xianyu, who was further away, hid behind Night Sorrow. His eyes were filled with shock. Under the impact of the soul force, Wu Ling Fei spoke. I don't want to talk nonsense with you. Submit or I will continue to hand you over to them. Hearing Wu Ling Fei's words, the silver-winged eagle king's head stuck to the ground, expressing its submission. The silver-winged eagle king was just an ordinary demon beast with good talent. What was Wu Ling Fei's true body? The ice phoenix race. That was a true king of the birds. The two couldn't be compared. Wu Ling Fei hid and suppressed her aura so that no one could detect anything. But when she released her aura, the silver-winged eagle king couldn't resist and could only submit. Night Sorrow, give Aunt Fei a beast-taming crystal. Wu Ling Fei called out to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow took out a beast-taming crystal and gave it to Wu Ling Fei. Wu Ling Fei continued to heal the silver-winged eagle king and fed it some medicine before putting it into the beast-taming crystal. Night Sorrow, Aunt Fei thanks you. This is a good means of transportation. Wu Ling Fei nodded to Night Sorrow. Aunt Fei, why are you thanking me? It's not like I can control it. Night Sorrow said with a slightly embarrassed tone. Without you commanding Xianyu and thinking for Aunt Fei, how could I possibly subdue it? Wu Ling Fei said with a smile. Wu Ling Fei had a mount in the past, but she had set it free a long time ago. It was mainly because the level of the mount was too low. Now, the silver-winged eagle king, which was at the 8th grade of the void inquiry stage, was a very good means of transportation unless there was an emergency. Senior Sister Wu, the silver-winged eagle king, still has potential. It has the chance to advance to the venerable realm. Qing Mang said. Junior Sister Qing Mang, that one has unlimited potential. It is only at the 4th grade of the void inquiry stage, but it almost killed the silver-winged eagle king, which was at the 8th grade of the void inquiry stage. What kind of effect is that? Wu Ling Fei pointed at Xianyu, who was standing behind Night Sorrow and looking at Wu Ling Fei. If junior brother is not mistaken, it has the bloodline of the Qing Peng. Not only does it have the bloodline of the Qing Peng but also the bloodline of the xuanhuan? After carefully observing Xianyu, Qing Mang said. It's like this. This guy's current comprehension of his cultivation base is very deep and he hasn't reached adulthood yet. There won't be any problem for him to advance to the venerable realm in the future. Wu Ling Fei said. Look at +++T version, a chapter N above section L square root, mighty. Truly mighty. By the way, the elders of the Tianji Tower branch in our region of unbounded desolation want to see senior sister. Do you want to meet them? Qing Mang asked. He wanted to hear Wu Ling Fei's opinion on these matters. That's fine too. After this beast tide is over, I will bring Night Sorrow and the others to Great Desolation City for a walk. Wu Ling Fei said. After nodding, Qing Mang left. Chapter 543. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. Why forever free? Sifi oh look little J say #1inch captain. If we capture more silver-winged eagles and bring them back to exchange for more resources, we will definitely be able to obtain more resources. Love go little say, Chunan Liu said in a money-grubbing manner. In terms of resources, the unbounded desolation region is indeed abundant. Let's not talk about the human territory in the eastern part of the region. The western part is almost uninhabited and the demon beasts do not know how to refine pills or refine weapons. Therefore, the resources there are indeed more abundant. However, human cultivators will only have a slim chance of survival if they go there. Wu Ling Fei said. Indeed. There are all kinds of demon beasts there. Even venerated realm experts can't go there. There are demon beast kings there. Knight Sorrow said with a sigh. Yes. Of course, risks also mean rewards. In the 9 regions and 18 prefectures, each region has its own territory. If humans want to invade their territory, it will be a life and death struggle. Therefore, we must control everything to a certain extent. Wu Lingfei said to Knight Sorrow and the others. After resting comfortably for a day, the sun set in the west and the battle resumed. However, the power of the beast tide was not as strong as before. Their aerial attacks were slightly reduced. The silver-winged eagle king, the commander of the flying demonic beasts, was captured, causing the flying demonic beasts to lose their scale of attack. They were all running around randomly and could not withstand the attacks from the crossbows on the city walls. Baidu search AI go female xianxia say www.ichuxs. Since they only guarded the city walls, the threat was not great. Knight Sorrow was still the same as before. He walked around the city walls and specifically killed the demonic beasts that posed a threat to the city walls. With the soaring dragon steps as his foundation, Knight Sorrow's agility was very high. He would not be surrounded and attacked by a group of demonic beasts. Moreover, the current Knight Sorrow was completely different from the time when he was in Broken Cloud Mountain in the eastern profound region. His combat power was completely different. Currently, Knight Sorrow's cultivation base was at the 6th level of the Void Inquiry stage. In addition to the cultivation base of the 10,000 Dao scripture and the innate bloodline ability of Space Split, it was very difficult for cultivators and demonic beasts below the Venerable Realm to pose a threat to Knight Sorrow. After killing all the large demon beasts, Knight Sorrow returned to the city wall to rest. While Knight Sorrow was fighting, Tianyu and Silver Fox were not idle either. Tianyu specialized in hunting flying beasts in the air. He even brought back the corpses to make food for everyone. He knew that Knight Sorrow had this hobby. Silver Fox was fighting on the slope of the city wall. His speed was extremely fast. The monsters that were rushing towards the city wall could not pose a threat to Silver Fox when their feet were unstable. Silver Fox's sharp claws and tail attack were very sharp. The tail attack was no different from a sharp blade attack. Time slipped away bit by bit. Fortunately, the attacks of the demonic beasts were not sharp, so there was no danger. Because the Thousand Desolation City did not have much kerosene reserves, they could only ignite it once every 6 hours. The main reason was that the consumption of kerosene in the past few days was too great. The city walls of the Thousand Desolation City were so long, and to keep burning at the bottom of the city walls, the consumption of kerosene was extremely shocking. Fortunately, we were ruthless in the past few days, so the demonic beasts did not have much energy left. Otherwise, if you told me that there was not enough kerosene, I would have cursed you. When they were resting again, Lei Bao said as he watched the guards of the city lord's mansion ignite the kerosene. Sir, the previous beast tides were not so fierce. Even the 2 combined were not as fierce as this one, so we used too much kerosene. The guard said embarrassedly. Lei Bao, what are you scolding them for? Don't you feel ashamed? They haven't rested for the past few days and have been sending us supplies and wine. It's not easy. Nan Liu said. I'm not scolding them, I'm just complaining. Brother, I'm very sorry. Lei Bao cupped his hands and apologized to the guard. He was a person who could accept when things went wrong. If he felt that he was in the wrong, then he would admit his mistake, even if the other party was only a low-level cultivator at the peak of element gathering realm. Sir, you're too serious. I know that Sir has no ill intentions. The guard said in a panic. In the world of cultivators, it was very rare for high-level cultivators to apologize to low-level cultivators. It was even rare for them to speak in a low voice. All right, then tell your leader later to prepare more good wine for us. We've never asked you to replenish your manpower. It's not too much to ask for some wine, Lei Bao said to the guard. Many thanks to the lords of the Eastern Shen region for coming to help. The wine is here. At this time, a commander of the city guard army came and handed 2 storage belts to Lei Bao. Nan Liu also threw 2 empty storage belts to the commander of the city guard army. Although no one cared about a few storage belts, it was still inappropriate for them to only take in and not take out. Moreover, the members of the god-slaying team would definitely not take advantage of others. After the commander of the city guard army left, Hu Xiao brought the higher-ups of the city lord's mansion of Great Desolation City and the city lord of Thousand Desolation City over. First of all, they expressed their gratitude to Wu Lingfei. Wu Lingfei's killing of the 5-clawed pterosaur had sealed the victory. Based on the current situation, the beast tide wouldn't be able to break through the defenses of Thousand Desolation City. You don't need to be so polite with me. The stability of this section of the city wall is the result of their hard work. Wu Lingfei pointed at Night Sorrow and the others. The youngsters of the Eastern Shen region are amazing. Not to mention anything else, just these youngsters alone will be terrifying when they grow up, especially their captain, Hu Xiao said as he looked at Night Sorrow and the others. You're too kind, City Lord Hu Xiao. I, Night Sorrow, am not worthy of your praise. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Hu Xiao. Night Sorrow. That's a good name. I admire you. In the future, when you come to the realm of unbounded desolation, you must find me for a drink in Great Desolation City. Hu Xiao nodded at Night Sorrow. Normally speaking, venerables disdain to associate with cultivators below the venerable realm. Everyone below the venerable realm was like an ant. They weren't even on the same level, let alone a peak venerable like Hu Xiao. He valued Night Sorrow because he felt that Night Sorrow's potential was astonishing. Afterwards, Hu Xiao and the others went to patrol other areas. Night Sorrow and the god-slaying squad hadn't suffered any casualties, but too many people had died in other areas, so Hu Xiao had to arrange compensation. Since they had died fighting for the realm of unbounded desolation, the realm of unbounded desolation had to help clean up the aftermath. They couldn't let the dead bleed and the living cry. After checking his belt of holding, Lei Bao said, "They're quite generous this time. They gave us a lot of wine." Night Sorrow looked out of Thousand Desolation City and said, "The result of the Beast Tide's attack is quite tragic. If we have time, let's go to the depths of the Grand Desolation City and kill some of them." Captain, Nan Liyue said, "The realm of unbounded desolation doesn't rank high among the 9 realms, but it's the largest. Half of the land occupied by the Beast Tide is as large as one of the other realms. It's very dangerous inside. If we dare to go in without permission, there's an 80 to 90% chance that we won't be able to come back. I'm just thinking about it. I didn't say I'd go there right away." Even though Night Sorrow was curious, he wouldn't risk everyone's lives. "Now that we're strong enough, there's no harm in going there," Wu Lingfei said. "The world is so big. There's nowhere we can't go." The rest of the battle went on uneventfully. Because they didn't have enough kerosene, each wave of battle lasted for a long time. Night Sorrow divided everyone into 2 groups. One group guarded the city walls while the other group rested, ate and drank before changing shifts. Since the situation wasn't urgent, Night Sorrow didn't participate in the battle. Instead, he watched the overall situation and chatted with Wu Lingfei. Looking at Night Sorrow, Wu Lingfei said, "You've gained a lot in the realm of unbounded desolation this time." Chapter 544. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go Divided by Xiao? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Human cultivators who had mounts were all very outstanding. Cultivators without mounts could be found everywhere. For example, during the battle between Medicine Valley and Nanyang City's Tai family, many rank 4 disciples were sent out. Most of them did not have mounts. Even if they had mounts, rank 2 and rank 3 were already very good. Rank 4 mounts were something that many people did not even dare to think about. Now all the god-slaying team members' mounts were rank 4. As they grew, it was possible for them to reach the peak of rank 4. The silver-winged eagle was a rank 4 flying beast. However, if it grew well, it had the possibility of reaching rank 5. The silver-winged eagle king was an example. This was the harvest of mounts. It was something that everyone had gained. Night Sorrow's greatest harvest was the 3 desolate stones. Those were resources that could strengthen the power of desolates in his body. They were very rare resources. Night Sorrow had talked with Wu Lingfei before. He knew that the power of desolates was the ultimate attribute of the time attribute. It could accelerate time and cause life to age instantly. The power of this attack was very terrifying. A few days ago when he was free, Night Sorrow tried it out. He found that he could absorb the power of desolates from the desolate stones. This made him very excited. The power of desolates in Night Sorrow's body was very pure. However, the amount was small. It could be used to attack, but it could not be integrated into the myriad Tao treasured book's energy. If the amount was accumulated to a certain extent, then Night Sorrow could convert all the energy of the myriad Tao treasured book into power of desolates. Then he could use the power of desolates to strengthen his body. Baidu search AI go female sign Xiao say www.ichuxs. The battle went on peacefully for 3 days. The few remaining beasts retreated. This also marked the end of the Beast Tide. On the city walls of Thousand Desolation City, there were earth-shattering shouts. Everyone had fought hard and finally protected their home. At Hu Zhao's invitation, Wu Lingfei took Night Sorrow and the god-slaying squad to Grand Desolation City via the teleportation portal. When they arrived at Great Desolation City, Qing Mang led the god-slaying squad to the Tianji Tower branch to rest. Wu Lingfei took Night Sorrow to the City Lord Manor for a walk. After all, Hu Xiao had invited them and it would be inappropriate to refuse. Love Gong Little Sei Ku Hu Xiao represented the City Lord's mansion and gave Wu Lingfei a box of Dao Comprehension tea. He also gave Night Sorrow 3 ice attribute crystals. When Night Sorrow fought, he used the ice attribute. In addition, Hu Xiao promised that if anything happened to the Eastern Shen realm, the realm of unbounded desolation would definitely help. He also invited Night Sorrow to visit the realm of unbounded desolation whenever he had time. Night Sorrow didn't have much strength now, but Hu Xiao knew that Night Sorrow would definitely rise. Afterward, Wuling Concubine brought Yi Shang to the Extreme Celestial Tower branch. At this time, in the backyard of the Extreme Celestial Tower branch, the members of the God-slaying team were drinking tea and chatting. After a few days of intense battle, everyone needed to relax. At this moment, Qing Mang came over and invited Wu Lingfei to the Tianji Tower's conference room. At this moment, the higher-ups of Tianjin Tower were all waiting for Wu Lingfei's arrival in the conference room of the Tianji Tower branch. Wu Lingfei nodded at Night Sorrow, and the two of them put on their masks. Qing Mang already knew Night Sorrow's identity. Wu Lingfei had always been wearing a veil. This time she just changed it. When Wu Lingfei and Night Sorrow arrived at the Tianji Tower's conference room, the Vice Palace Master, Elders and Guardians all bowed respectfully. Love Gong Little Sei Ku Wu Lingfei asked about the current situation and whether the Heaven Terminus branch in the realm of unbounded desolation needed any help. Wu Lingfei felt that the battered realm of unbounded desolation was a good opportunity for the Tianji Tower to develop rapidly and help the realm of unbounded desolation recover. Finally, she invited Qing Mang to visit the headquarters when she had time. After that, Wu Lingfei told Qing Mang to issue a mission to purchase the desolate stones that others couldn't use even though they were precious treasures. She could use life crystals, soul crystals, or origin elixir as payment. The mission would be effective for a long time. Even though Qing Mang didn't know why Wu Lingfei was interested in the desolate stones, she knew that she would do as she was told. Even though I'm the Vice Palace Master of the Tianji Tower branch in the realm of unbounded desolation, I'm also the Vice Palace Master. If something happens to the Heaven Terminus branch in the realm of unbounded desolation, I won't sit by and do nothing. If anything happens, let me know. By the way, this is Night Sorrow. If he comes to the realm of unbounded desolation in the future, I hope you'll support him. We'll definitely support Night Heaven Terminus, Qing Mang and the others said. After briefly communicating with the higher-ups of the Heaven Terminus branch in the realm of unbounded desolation, Wu Lingfei and Night Sorrow returned to the backyard of the Tianji Tower, where Qing Mang had arranged for them to rest. Wu Lingfei released the silver-winged eagle king, examined its injuries and treated it. With the help of Wu Lingfei's life energy, the silver-winged eagle king could fully recover from its injuries. If it were anyone else, it would only be partially disabled. Tianyu pounced on the silver-winged eagle king, his sharp claws penetrating its back and damaging its bones and essence. After sending the silver-winged eagle king away to rest, Wu Lingfei took a glance at Tianyu and said, "Tianyu's claws are really heavy. I think it'll take him some time to recover." Night Sorrow reached out and touched Tianyu's neck. Tianyu's strengths are his strength and speed. He's very lethal in close combat. Wu Lingfei nodded and said, "This guy is very smart. He pretended to be weak from the beginning, and then went for the kill after numbing his opponent. He's smart and resourceful." She had a feeling that ever since she had used her soul pressure on Tianyu that day, Tianyu had become somewhat afraid of her. After resting for 2 days, the group of people left the realm of unbounded desolation. It could be said that this trip had been very fruitful. The teleportation portals in the realm of unbounded desolation were relatively advanced. After arriving at South Soaring City, they were teleported to North Blue City in the realm of Taiyue, and then to Five People's City. After reaching Wui City, they could no longer teleport, so they released their mounts to fly. Because the silver-winged eagle king was still recuperating, Wu Lingfei and Night Sorrow rode the Qianyu. Their mounts were all tier 4, so their speed was much faster. It only took them 4 days to reach East Park City. When they arrived at East Park City, concubine Wu Lingfei brought everyone to an inn. The continuous journey had been very tiring for everyone. Starter V. After entering the inn, Wu Lingfei said, "You're really something. I didn't expect you to extend your reach here." "What's the situation with Auntie Fei?" Night Sorrow asked. "There are people from the Jiyu clan from the realm of Qingtian guarding the teleportation portals," Wu Lingfei said. "They practice special cultivation methods, so Auntie Fei can sense them. People from the Eastern Xian realm have to pass through East Smoke City and East Park City to come out," Sikong Chuyu said. "That's why they're keeping an eye on us. We'll be discovered as soon as we come out. Wu Lingfei pondered for a moment before saying, "Wait for me." After exiting the inn, Wu Lingfei's body flickered and disappeared from everyone's sight. Is Auntie Fei going to find them? Is she going to attack them? Yang Lei asked. I don't think so, Sikong Chuyu said. She's probably going to give them a warning. She won't attack them directly. You don't understand Auntie Fei, Night Sorrow said. Auntie Fei is very patient with the people around her, but she won't tolerate her opponents and enemies. Those people are probably dead by now. Chapter 545. Geniuses remember love in 1 second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Auntie Fei, didn't we agree that you wouldn't participate in the war? Is this okay? Night Sorrow asked worriedly. Auntie Fei, you didn't go to the Qingtian region to kill people, right? The strong have their dignity. Some trash dared to provoke them. They must be tired of living. Jiyu Haitian is unhappy, so he came to fight. Last time it was a draw. Let's try again this time. Wu Lingfei's words were full of fighting spirit and confidence. Auntie Fei, are you sure? Night Sorrow asked. Wu Lingfei nodded to Sikong Chuyu, who was handing her a cup of tea, and said to Night Sorrow, even if we can't kill him, we will make him retreat. Last time he was only slightly stronger than me. At that time, I had just advanced and was not familiar with the power of laws. The situation now is different. Then let's kill him directly to prevent future trouble, Night Sorrow said. Why are you in such a hurry? He has been a saint for a long time, so there is not much room for improvement. However, Auntie Fei is different. What Auntie Fei needs is time. The longer you drag it out, the more advantageous it will be for Auntie Fei. In addition, Auntie Fei feels that something is not right. It is impossible for Jiyu Haitian to be the only saint in this world. If he was the only one, the Qingtian region would have already swallowed the other regions. Auntie Fei, do you mean that there are many saints in the 9 regions world? Night Sorrow asked in shock. It is possible. The possibility of Taiyue region and Xuanhuan region having saints is not high. However, it is hard to say for the other regions. According to the habits of Jiyu's family and Jiyu Haitian's overbearing character, if there were no other saints to restrain them, they would have already spread their influence everywhere, Wu Lingfei said. Because of the potential saints, Jiyu Haitian and Jiyu's family do not dare to act recklessly? Night Sorrow understood what Wu Lingfei meant. Aunt Fei thinks so too. The 9-domain world has existed for a long time. It's understandable that there are saints. Of course, they won't come out unless the world is turned upside down, Wu Lingfei said. It's better to be cautious. This water is too deep, Sikong Chuyu said, because Wu Lingfei's analysis was very reasonable. Auntie Fei, how long does a saint have? Night Sorrow asked. If one doesn't have any talent and comprehends an ordinary attribute, then one will have a lifespan of 3,000 years. However, this is not accurate. Who doesn't have a fortuitous encounter to be able to cultivate to the saint level? Who knew how many heavenly treasures he had consumed? Furthermore, a person who was able to cultivate to the saint level would definitely not have a low talent. Love gone little say W. Chu Wu Lingfei said. Night Sorrow nodded. Such a situation did not make Night Sorrow feel any pressure. Instead, his heart was filled with the motivation to become a powerhouse. After resting for a night in Dongyuan City, the group teleported to Dongyan City. After arriving at Dongyan City, Night Sorrow and the others started a massacre under Wu Lingfei's guidance. They killed all the spies from the Qingtian domain who were waiting around the teleportation array. After dealing with the spies from the Qingtian domain, Wu Lingfei told Kuan Nan, who was in charge of the affairs of Dongyan City, that as long as the people from the Qingtian domain came to the Taiyue domain, they would kill them. The Eastern Shen domain was not afraid of any war. After that, Wu Lingfei led the group back to Linhai City and teleported to Dongshen City. Wu Lingfei asked Night Sorrow to take everyone back to rest. She still had some things to deal with. Night Sorrow nodded and led the group back to Qingxin Cottage. He knew that Wu Lingfei, as the city lord and the branch master of Tianji Tower, had a lot of things to do. After returning to Qingxin Cottage, Night Sorrow told Aunt Feng to prepare more food. Then he and the 2 girls went to the backyard. 13. The harvest this time is pretty good, said Sikong Chuyu. We got a lot of mounts this time. Senior brother and senior sister can change their mounts, said Night Sorrow. They will be very happy. The disciples of Taishan Peak are going to be shocked again. Now, it can be said that our Taishan Peak is the signature of Medicine Valley. 13. You are the signature of the signature, said Yang Lei. You 2 must be tired. Rest when you need, said Night Sorrow to the 2 girls. Yeah. I haven't bathed in so many days. I'm going to take a bath first. Night Sorrow, You should also take a bath and relax, said xianxia to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow smiled and nodded. Then he went back to his room to take a bath. These days he was either rushing or fighting hard. He really needed to relax. Chapter I9A2II. After taking a bath and changing into a clean robe, Night Sorrow went to the hall to drink tea. He wanted to cultivate, but he knew that his current life was different from his previous life. He had to consider the feelings of the two girls. The two girls didn't need a blockhead who only knew how to cultivate. Night Sorrow had just sat down when the two girls finished washing and came to the hall. 13. We know that you are anxious to improve your strength, but you don't have to rush. Take it slow. Your state of mind is also very important, said Yang Lei to Night Sorrow. They had been together for a long time. Yang Lei knew Night Sorrow very well. I know. Some things can't be rushed. Just take it slow, said Night Sorrow with a smile. xianxia took out a tea set and brewed a pot of tea. After the storm, we should be able to stabilize for a while. Originally I thought that we would make a trip to Yunwu Mountain this time. But now it seems that we are still lacking a little. We can't let Auntie Fei protect us every time we go out. Without her, our ability to protect ourselves is still lacking, said Night Sorrow. There's no rush. I wrote a letter to grandfather. My parents also know about my situation. So there's no rush at all, said xianxia with a smile. Then let's go back to the Medicine Valley in a few days. Then we can cultivate in peace. We can talk about other things later. I originally planned to go to the Taiching domain, but I can't do it now, said Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow had always wanted to go to the Night Moon Dynasty's original location to take a look. But now his own safety was a problem. He couldn't go at all. There's nothing to be anxious about. We have plenty of resources, so all we have to do is cultivate diligently. Yishang, you have a way to cultivate mental energy so it won't take you too long to reach the Exalt realm, said Yang Lei. Night Sorrow nodded. Then he released Xianhu and Silver Fox to let them play. Now Xianhu and Silver Fox were rapidly improving their cultivation. It was also time for them to increase their spiritual intelligence. Seeing Night Sorrow do this, Yang Lei and xianxia also released their mounts. However, they knew that no matter how they trained their mounts, they would be different from Night Sorrow's Xianhu and Silver Fox. Both the Dark Feathered Eagle and the Fire Phoenix were tamed. Because of fear, and submission to others, their souls had a flaw. This was a hard injury that affected their future. However, Xianhu and Silver Fox were different. They had communicated with Night Sorrow when they were very young. They didn't have any innate flaws. In other words, their development wouldn't be limited because they had a master. We know that Xianhu is outstanding, but we really didn't expect Silver Fox to be so outstanding, said xianxia. Chapter 546. Geniuses remember love in 1 second divided by small? We provide you with interesting novels to read. Night Sorrow then told them about Silver Fox's situation. He also told them to keep it a secret because the nine-tailed fox's bloodline was a serious problem. Once it was leaked, it would cause a huge commotion. For the next few days, everyone rested quietly. Night Sorrow would chat with the members of the God-slaying squad when he had nothing to do. These few days, everyone was familiarizing themselves with their new mounts. After a good rest, Night Sorrow brought the two girls back to Medicine Valley through the teleportation portal. Looking at the bustling Danding City, Night Sorrow felt much better. In terms of prosperity, Danding City was still far from Dongshan City. However, compared to first-class cities like Thunder City and Star Cloud City, it was not only not weaker, but also had the potential to surpass them. This was due to the special characteristics of Medicine Valley. Medicine Valley's foundation was based on cultivation, with alchemy as a supplement. With the help of alchemy and alchemy techniques, many cultivators were willing to come to this area. When cultivators obtained materials, they could exchange them for alchemy pills in Danding City. They could also pay someone to refine them. Businessmen also saw business opportunities here. Reselling alchemy pills and alchemy resources was much better than other businesses. Look at the Arche. Chapter Plus section. 0v. Looking at the golden flame palace that was emitting a gentle light, Night Sorrow stood in front of the palace for a while. Then he brought the two girls and flew towards the Longquan courtyard. In the Longquan courtyard, Night Sorrow saw Aoi and some of the Medicine Valley's third-generation disciples. Aoi's disciples had increased by a lot. Night Sorrow did not stay in Medicine Valley for the past few years because he did not know the situation. After the rise of Medicine Valley, more and more cultivators joined the sect every year. Many of them came for the Taishan Peak. Seeing Night Sorrow and the other two, Aoi, who was holding a rattan in her left hand and a teacup in her right hand, was stunned. Then she put down the things in her hand and hugged Night Sorrow, who was walking in front of them. Sixth senior sister, I missed you, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Senior sister misses all of you too. 13 You're much taller than sixth senior sister. Now that you've really grown up, all of you come over here. This is your ninth martial aunt and also an elder of our Medicine Valley. Qingji called out to her disciples and introduced them while pointing at young Lei. Disciple greets ninth martial aunt. These 50 to 60 young disciples all bowed to young Lei. This is the person you want to meet. He's your 13th uncle and also our Medicine Valley's deputy valley master, Yishang. Love Gone Little Sei Koi introduced Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was the pride of Taishan Peak and was also the pride of Aoi. Greetings, deputy valley master. The disciples all bowed. Some of them stole glances at Night Sorrow from time to time because Night Sorrow was only 2 years older than them. Don't call me deputy valley master. Just call me martial uncle. Night Sorrow waved his arm and used his true chi to help the disciples up. You have to set 13th martial uncle as your goal. Your 13th martial uncle has only been in the sect for 4 years, but now practically everyone in Eastern Shen region knows his name. You can also call him martial uncle. Just call him martial uncle Sikong. Qingji looked at the disciples and introduced Sikong Chuyu to them. Senior sister, what's your cultivation level now? Always eldest disciple Shinrong stepped forward and asked. Why are you asking this? Night Sorrow asked with a smile. He really did not want to talk about this topic because it might be a blow to some of the new disciples. Senior sister, when we entered the sect together, I was ranked 3rd while you were ranked 13th. 4 years have passed. I want to know what's your current cultivation level. Shinrong asked persistently. He had been working very hard and was about to enter the mid-core formation realm. Don't ask this question, Yang Lei said. She knew Night Sorrow's worries. It's alright. If you can't even bear this little bit of pressure, you won't be qualified to become a disciple of Taishan Peak. Most importantly, I also want to know your current cultivation level. Always said with a smile. Master, you can't see senior sister 13's cultivation level? Shinrong looked at Aoi in surprise and then at Night Sorrow. He knew Aoi's cultivation level. Currently, Aoi was already at the peak spirit severing realm. Some time ago, 13 entered the 6th level of the Void Inquiry stage. He's not far from the late Void Inquiry stage. Yang Lei said. As Yang Lei reported Night Sorrow's cultivation level, Aoi looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. The other 3rd generation disciples all gasped. Don't compare yourself with your senior sister 13. Not to mention the Eastern Profound region, there is only one Night Sorrow in the 9 regions and 18 prefectures. Yang Lei said. Senior sister, I came back to give you a gift. See if you like it. Night Sorrow took out a beast-taming crystal and handed it to Aoi. A mount? Then I want to see it. If it's like a tiger eagle, I won't want it even if it has strong combat power and high cultivation level. Aoi said and communicated with the beast-taming crystal. Then she released the silver-winged eagle. A level 4 level 6 silver-winged eagle. It's practical and beautiful. I'll take it. Aoi said with a smile. It's fine as long as you like it. Then let's go to the Taishan Peak and give the other senior brothers their mounts. This time I've caught a few more silver-winged eagles. They're for senior brothers and sisters. Night Sorrow said with a smile. 3rd senior brother has also returned some time ago. Something happened in Golden Flame City. He even used the teleportation formation in our Pill Tripod City. Always said. There are some big movements over there. Night Sorrow said. He knew about the 2nd base of the Chenji Tower. The Heaven Vault Mountain was located between Golden Flame City and Pill Tripod City. The 2nd base of the Chenji Tower was a big event for the Chenji Tower. The transportation there must be very developed. Therefore, it was natural for teleportation formations to lead to all places. Always said something to her disciples. Then she and Night Sorrow rode on their mounts and flew towards Pill Tripod Peak. This mount is amazing. It's really fast. It's much faster than the Green Eagle. Aoi was very satisfied with the speed of the silver-winged eagle. The group went straight to the bamboo grove. Aoi arranged for the servant disciples of the Taishan Peak to inform the other senior brothers. Then she brought Night Sorrow to the wine cellar and filled some wine for him. 6th senior sister, you still have a lot of wine here. Night Sorrow said. I have a hobby of making wine. Plus all the senior brothers like this. I make some whenever I'm free. Aoi said with a smile. Night Sorrow had an idea, but he didn't know how to say it. He had the dragon root of the 5-clawed pterosaur. It was good for making wine and replenishing blood. However, he was good at making pills but not wine. 13 What's wrong? If it's not enough you can fill some more. Alway looked at Night Sorrow. She thought that Night Sorrow felt that it was too little. It's not like that. Let's be honest. I have something that I need your help with. Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Why are you hesitating? Alway said with a smile. Chapter 547. Genius remembers love in 1 second / small? We provide you with interesting novels to read. Ah, what is this? Alway blushed. Although she did not recognize what it was, she could roughly recognize it from its shape. It's the dragon root of a 5-clawed winged dragon. My Aunt Faye said that if I brew it into a medicinal wine, it will be beneficial for my body cultivation. Night Sorrow said. I see. Then I'll go look for Gudian and study it to see how to brew it with the best effect. Don't worry. You can take it away after it's done. Alway said after keeping the dragon root. Then the two of them went out of the cellar and went to the pavilion. At this moment, Gong Xian and the others had already arrived and were drinking tea. 13 Every time I see you, you shock me to death. You're already at the 6th grade of the Void Inquiry stage. You're really amazing. Gong Xian sized up Night Sorrow and said. I've brought some mounts for my senior brothers. If you don't have any problems, you can change your mounts. Night Sorrow directly took out 10 beast taming crystals and placed them on the tea table. What kind of mounts are these? However, 13's products must be excellent. Let's give it a try. Wuxia smiled and took out a beast taming crystal. Then he used his spirit power to make it recognize its owner. Next he released the silver-winged eagle. A 4th grade silver-winged eagle. This is good. It won't be a problem for it to reach the peak of the 4th grade in the future. Wuxia looked at the silver-winged eagle that was flapping its wings and said with satisfaction. The silver-winged eagles here are all of different grades. If you're lucky you can get a high-grade one. Night Sorrow reached out his hand and pushed the beast-taming crystal in front of him. Every time I come back I have good luck. I shouldn't say that. I should say that with 13 good junior brothers my luck will come. Xuanhuan said. He originally planned to leave for Golden Flame City tomorrow. Today he would be able to catch up with Night Sorrow to deliver the mounts. Even if 3rd senior brother isn't at the Taishan Peak, I will also find someone to help bring the mounts there. Night Sorrow said. After everyone was done, Night Sorrow found that he had a task. Because Chen had brought Chu Lingfei along, Night Sorrow took out 10 pieces, just enough for his senior brothers. I didn't count. It's not enough. Night Sorrow took out another beast-taming crystal and gave it to Chu Lingfei. That's not appropriate. Chu Lingfei shook her head. Take it. Night Sorrow took the beast-taming crystal and handed it to Chu Lingfei. Thank you, 13th junior brother. Chen was a little embarrassed. Every time he brought Chu Lingfei to a party, he had to take advantage of Night Sorrow. Love Gong Little's sake, normally speaking, Night Sorrow was a resource for his senior brother and senior sister. Chu Lingfei had nothing to do with it, but he couldn't just leave Chu Ling behind. The two of them were like-minded husband and wife, and had always gone through thick and thin together. 11th senior brother, there's no point in saying that. It's just a matter of catching an extra mount. It's nothing. Night Sorrow certainly knew what Chen was thinking. Don't think too much. The biggest advantage of us Taishan Peak disciples is that we are united. Resources and mounts are not a problem. Yang Lei patted Chen's shoulder and said, My luck is the best. I'm at the 8th level of the spirit-severing stage. Guan Yi, who had released his mount to study it, said with a laugh. 12th senior brother, your luck is also very good, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Yay edition premier dollars. Then the servants set up the banquet. Everyone was present, so drinking was no problem. While drinking, everyone asked about Night Sorrow's situation and understood the general situation outside. After listening to Night Sorrow talk about the battle of the sacred experts, everyone sighed. They thought that battles between venerables were rarely seen in the past, let alone battles between sacred experts. 13 The Great Elder and the Supreme Elder reminded me when I went to Taiwa Domain some time ago that you should come back and visit Pilding Cliff when you have time. Gong Xian said. I'll go there when I reach the peak of the Void Inquiry stage. Night Sorrow did not want to go there now. If it was in the past, Night Sorrow might care about it and miss the 8-Dragon Cauldron very much. However, now that he had the Time and Space Treasure Pagoda to protect him, there was no need for him to covet the 8-Dragon Cauldron. Besides, he did not want to talk about the Time and Space Treasure Pagoda. Firstly, it would be showing off, and secondly, it would be a blow to others. After drinking, everyone chatted happily about some trivial matters. They had not met for a long time and it was not the first time they chatted so casually. 13 I've already arranged for someone to send the medicinal pills you mentioned to Bamboo Garden Town. Aoi said to Night Sorrow. Some time ago, Night Sorrow asked Aoi to help him get some low-grade resources for Old Man Gu and Chin Chin. Aoi had already done it for him. It's no longer Bamboo Garden Town over there. It's now Bamboo Garden City. Gong Xian said with a smile. Night Sorrow nodded. He felt at ease. His original intention of venturing out into the world was to let the villagers of Bamboo Garden Village live a good life. Now, Bamboo Garden Village was getting better and better. It had already become Bamboo Garden City. This made him feel very gratified. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow brought the two girls back to the courtyard of the Bamboo Forest Peak. Although Night Sorrow did not live there much, the odd-job disciples of the Taishan Peak would come to clean the place every day. Thus, the place was always kept very clean. It feels good to be back here. Yang Lei opened her arms and said to the breeze. Back here I feel like there's no pressure at all. It's just relaxing. Night Sorrow said with a smile. The three of them sat in front of the bamboo building and enjoyed the night breeze. Night Sorrow had not enjoyed such a comfortable feeling in a long time. Hee, there's no one else here. It's a world for the three of us. Yang Lei said with a smile. Ninth's senior sister is full of bad intentions. Sikong Chuyu glanced at Yang Lei and said, This is relaxing. You can shout as loud as you want. No one can hear you. Yang Lei said with a smile. How loud can I shout? Ninth senior sister, your voice is louder than mine, okay? Sikong Chuyu looked at Yang Lei and said, That's because I'm relaxed. I'll shout as long as I'm comfortable. Who cares? Yang Lei said nonchalantly. Night Sorrow stood up and pulled the two women into the bamboo building. The two women joked around for a while. Night Sorrow couldn't remain indifferent. Ninth senior sister, I remember you said that the turning moon gazing in the harmony technique was good. Do you want to try it now? Sikong Chuyu looked at Yang Lei and said, You're too naughty. Let's try it. We're not a couple for a day or two. Yang Lei said, but her face still turned red. The three of them didn't stay idle that night. Night Sorrow's physical fitness was high. In addition, he had practiced the outer chapter of the Myriad Dao Tome. He had enough capital. The battle never stopped. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu's physical fitness was strong. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to withstand it. However, the two of them also tried many consummate skills in the harmony technique. Even as Night Sorrow was enjoying himself, he couldn't help but sigh in amazement. The senior who had created the harmony technique was a genius. He could think of anything. Ninth senior sister, luckily we cultivated our bodies. If we were ordinary women, Night Sorrow would have killed us. Sikong Chuyu was lying on the bed. His forehead was full of sparkling and translucent sweat.